All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Kynesie versus Tabben. I am joined by Kaiser Klein. Just a sec, Kaiser. Let me turn you on so everyone can hear your voice. There you go.
All right, yeah. Well, hello everyone.
Hello indeed.
We're gonna have a very nice series, I think.
Yeah, and it looks like Tabben is now online. So if the voice levels are not quite right, do bear with us. We're just going to use this opportunity to get that set up. So we don't normally stream on a Thursday, but we usually are in the studio because we sort of have what we call an improvement day. On Thursdays, we're doing all sorts of random stuff to make the stream better and organizing the LANs and setting out our schedules, and there's all sorts of meta stuff that needs to happen behind the scenes. But yes, over time, we hope to use those Thursdays less for planning and more for streaming as everything becomes sort of more established. But currently with the first ever Age of Empires 3 LAN that we've ever hosted, and indeed the first one in a long time, lots of stuff to prepare. But yes, as Kaiser Klein was saying, we should have a pretty good series, and looks like both the players are online. Kynesie versus Tabben. The winner of this series will progress through and qualify for the LAN. This is the 6th qualification series thus far. So far we have Maito, Kaiser Klein, Lord Raphael, and I almost said I am Soldier, but that's not the case. And there was one more person who qualified through the upper bracket. Yes, but I'm not sure who that was. Diaruga, yes. No wonder I forgot. Sorry, Diaruga. But, yeah, let's see something in the chat, because... Oh, no. The reason the chat's not working on my side is because I think we hosted you last, and the chat that I normally read from is yours. So, there's nothing in there. But I'll fix that in a second. So, should we talk about these two players a bit? Because I think Kynesie is probably the strongest player on water that is currently active. If we played a best of 7 on all water maps, I'd expect him to win the tournament, or at least be in the finals. But that's not the case. The New World Championship doesn't have quite as many, does it, Kaiser Klein? Not as many water maps.
Yeah, it's definitely most likely the strongest water player, and yeah, it's not a full water tournament, obviously, because it's I think the map pool is quite representative of the maps, right? You have some no TP, you have some water, you have some standard land map, and I think it's quite balanced. So yeah, it's maybe not the best kind of map pool for Kynesie for sure, especially with the veto rule, meaning that, well, obviously Tabben has vetoed like Baja California, which is the best water map for Kynesie. So it just means one less water map for Kynesie having this veto rule, basically.
Yeah. The best of 9 gone.
Even though he's usually picking Portuguese on water maps, because with these rules, like he can't play ports twice. So you could say, yeah, it doesn't matter if there's more than one water map, right? Because he can't play ports anyway. But Kynesie can water with Aztecs as well, with Otto, I think, with some other civs, even with China. So if they get to this final Florida map, it's gonna be really good for Kynesie, I believe.
Yeah, I think Kynesie will feel very at home if he can get all the way to that final game, which will be played on Florida. Interjection, give us a wink, and do a shot every time Interjection says LAN. Well, there you go. There's another one. LAN. Ha! Fuck you guys. But yes, as you're saying, there's not that many water maps in this map pool, and with the veto rule, right, I think the 9 maps we selected, which for the LAN semi-finals and finals, all 9 maps will be played. There will not be... Oh my god, I said it again. That's another shot. There will not be any vetoes. So for the best of 9, that's, I think that map pool is very representative of like the land to water to non-TP to TP ratio, and that's the map pool we put a lot of thought into. But for these best of 7s, it's those 9 maps, but with 1 veto each. And obviously Tabben, going up against the strongest water player, is going to get rid of the the heaviest water map. So this format doesn't favor Kynesie for a couple of reasons. It's one, that sort of veto, and 2, this map pool has fewer water maps in it than, I think, previous tournaments. Kynesie came second in the most recent ESOC Major, and I think that was because there was, a good presence of water maps, and he was able to perform there. But this is interesting, because, in that tournament, Kynesie did beat Tabben, so I wonder if Tabben is more experienced than he was before. I think he's a very strong player, and he's certainly come a long way. Let's take a look at his rank here. PR 39, you can see that just in my camera. And he's done that, I think, in about 2 years. He went from being sort of my rank, maybe slightly better than me, to being probably a top 8 player. I think he may well be the favorite to win here because of the map pool and the reasons we've been saying. But, Tabben, I expect him to have to put up a goddamn fight to win this. I don't think he's going to go through quite as easily as, say, you did versus Kynesie. Well, we'll have to see. But, yes, just to cover anyone tuning in and who didn't realize, Kaiser went up against Kynesie, who I'm casting with today in the previous qualification series. Kaiser, you obviously won that. But Tabben, let's see what he can do here today. I'm very interested to see. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 in a best-of-7 series between Tabben and Kynesie. The maps that have been vetoed, as you can see, are Baja California from Tabben. He does not want to play that map. Makes sense against Kynesie. And Pampas Sierras being vetoed from the Kynesie, the Japanese general, so to speak. And speaking of Japan, he is playing that. Yes, Kaiser, go ahead.
Yeah, before we go any further, can you turn on the screen share?
Yes, and also I need to install the UI, so that would help.
Right.
Okay. Oh dear, everybody.
Did you start the game already? I mean, they have to restart now?
Yeah,
or?
Tabben's restarting.
All right.
I cannot wait for EP to be updated and bundle in the observer feature when you go into an observer game. That is, I think, going to be my favorite update of all time.
Yeah, I personally just play with minimize UI, like the big UI all the time, so that I don't have to uninstall the ASAMC UI.
Yeah. That makes sense. I see.
But
so,
I know it's not super comfortable for some people.
Yeah, well, it's sort of strictly worse, isn't it? It's bigger, and you see less of the map, which is, I think, why it's worse. And that means, like, you're less likely to spot a raid. But overall, I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference. But obviously, most people are used to playing on minimized UI. God, that's a shame. I felt like we had an excellent intro. I was really pleased with that. And then it got ruined by this nonsense.
Oh, well.
Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, everything's fine. And I think the quality is really, really alright.
Good,
okay,
good.
Yeah,
okay.
Go on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 in a best-of-7 series between Tabben and Kynesie. The vetoes, as you can see, are Baja California, vetoed by Tabben, makes sense, up against Kynesie, the strongest water player, and Pampas Sierras by Kynesie, a non-TP map, a map that's, can be quite aggressive with natives, and probably something he just doesn't want to have to deal with. But this could be quite a close series, and if Tabben cannot win before getting to the final map on Florida, I think Kynesie could well be up for something quite good. He wants to play on those water maps. There's not so many of them in this tournament, as we've been talking about. Pardon me just a moment as I slow the game down. We were playing recently, so I have to change all the settings, because, God, no one could play with this camera speed. But, yes, spawning in the bottom of the map, in the color blue, we do indeed have Tabben playing as the British here. Starting with an early mana there. And his explorer has picked up the macaque. That's a really nice treasure. And a goat doing a little bit of extra scouting. Really nice to see. Just in case there is a goat over there, the macaque can head on over and get it. Kynesie, though, as Japan, looks like one monk straight to the middle of the map, where he's picked up the 2 goats that have spawned there. There are only 2 this time around. But, yeah, British probably going to be really pleased with the macaque. Japan have those extra scouts that makes it much easier to find the goats. And you can see he's already off to a really nice start using that cherry orchard to go and look for goats. and has got more than his opponent, 4 here to 1. So to be expected as Japan, going to be really nice for him, and picking up 40 wood as well as 50 wood and 30 coins. So far, Kynesie off to a flying start, but immediately we see the Portuguese consulate coming in. There it is. And yes, Kynesie will be in the color red this game, of course, as Japan. As mentioned earlier, I am joined by the one and only Kaiser Klein, and it looks like we could well see a 90 wood treasure contention.
Yeah, that's a pretty good start for Kynesie at this point. He didn't have to chop that much. He essentially got a wood start, right? I mean, he's got an extra 90 wood, which is almost as much as an extra 100 wood crate. So it's just really good for him. And I think he's just gonna check now that Tabben is not waiting to pick up the 90 wood, and he might just pick it up himself.
Yeah.
But now he just spotted Tabben there, so he's probably not gonna take it.
Yeah, and I really like
especially
that.
with the macaque.
I really like the shrine there as well. I mean, it's a good spot anyway because you've got the what am I trying to say? The hunts, the caribou, but also the line of sight over the treasure.
Right, and I wonder if Tabben's gonna try to. Like, it's a bit of a weird situation because they both can pick up that treasure really quickly, because Japan can pick up this kind of treasure really easily, and Tabben also got the macaque. So if one of them starts the treasure, he can take it like really quick. So I think like Tabben right now is just walking around trying to find some hidden explorer, and he might just try to go for the 90 wood. But Kynesie is hidden in a spot that Tabben didn't check.
Yeah, and why would you ever go there? Like, there's just no reason to be in that corner. There's nothing there, but it's a brilliant placement. He can just hide his scout there, and Blue doesn't know he's there. And Blue's been checking sort of in the middle, where is he? I don't want to lose this treasure, but now he can come in at the last moment and pick that up, and he's going to go in for the contention here. Blue going for the tiger, taking damage. He's paying for it, but here he notices that the tiger is there. That his opponent's there, rather, and does get the divine strike in, but Blue going to pick it up. Beforehand, 90 wood goes to Tabben, the blue player.
Yeah, so that's pretty solid for Tabben. Obviously, 90 wood is more than one shrine for Kynesie now, since I assume he shipped Heavenly Kami, as usual. So 90 wood is like more than one shrine, with the Portuguese consulate as well. Interesting cherry orchard placement from Kynesie, the second one, I mean, really in the back, next to the border of the map.
Wait.
I mean, usually, no, I mean, in the back of his base, like, right next to the...
Oh, he's got, the second, right.
Right, so you see that's not really standard, but that's because he's gonna just wall up, I guess, and it's fine, right? He's not gonna be pressured there, so he'd rather have it a bit more in the back, maybe because of the range of the longbows. He couldn't really do it with his first cherry orchard, since it would be too much walking time for his vills in H1. But the second one, he's going to be able to go on that and not be in range of longbows, potentially. And he doesn't care if it's not close to his TC, because he's going to wall everything up anyway. So it's interesting.
And you can see the walls coming down. We expected this much from Kynesie. This is another one of his sort of famous styles, and Kamchatka, a really nice map to be doing it on. You can see putting the shrine, the trees, and of course the big buildings into the wall there, as well as the market, getting off to a really nice start here. But British is going to be aggressive with a forward barracks here. At least it's not in base. Is going to start with reasonable boomy cards. So it looks like he's going for 3 villages followed by 5. That's interesting. You often see 700 wood from British, because that is more or less the same as a 5 vil shipment, and you also get the XP for constructing the menus. I wonder why he's elected to do that. Either way, though, we'll be starting with pikes, and they're going to go and roam around on the map, destroying shrines. He's looking for them now. I like this. No shrines in the middle of the map from Kynesie. He's placed them all on the sides to make the pikes have to walk much further to get to them. But what do you think of this card order and his general start from Tabben?
Well, I like the Rex with pikes, obviously, especially against Kynesie, since he's gonna make
a second batch
of
of pikes as well.
But like, 5 vills is actually less greedy than 700 wood, right? 5 vills is faster, basically. You get your vills faster on the field. You don't need to spend villager seconds building your manors and stuff. you don't have the pop space. But if you don't need the pop space because your Brits, you should be fine even without 700 wood. You can go 5 bills, for example, for a calf start where you wanna gather more resources. But if you wanna go greedy, 700 wood is better because, like you said, you get the XP, so it speeds up your next shipment. So yeah, I'm not sure why he decided to go for 5
I
bills
have a
there.
theory.
But either way, it's not a huge difference.
No. What do you think of this, though? Going 5 villages just means that, in general, those are 5 extra villages, right? Because if you just gather all the wood for your 20 manors, you're going to have 5 extra villages in the end. Although he's going to send 700 wood here, so just the other way around. Makes sort of no little difference.
Right. I mean, it's not like he's going to skip the 5 bill shipment. It's either first or second card if you go for a greedy style. But 700
here we have a
first
trading
means
post.
You get your second shipment faster. But yeah, anyway.
It's interesting,
nice.
right, that Japan has gone for the trading post here, but he's putting up a bit of a fight. Of course, Pike's a bit floppy and whimsy, not so good against actually fighting. Very high siege, and these 2 monks are sort of doing pretty good damage. They've already gotten a divine strike in and taken sort of one of them out, but now 5 longbows have turned up. Tabben isn't going to turn and fight with the Pikes. That's not what they're good at, and the longbows here are going to take out these Yumi. Pardon me, they're not Yumi, but they are archers, you know what I mean.
Oh, he's going to lose it, actually. He maybe didn't have the ability anymore. It's kind of awkward, but, well, yeah, not a huge deal. He did trade his trading post for some pikes, and it's buying time as well. But he's going for 600 coins second card, which is kind of unexpected from a player like Kynesie. You would usually expect something much more greedy with 4 vills, but that's because he wants a fast age. But usually he booms more before aging, right? But this is kind of like a naked FF, like a quick age up, and maybe a decent counter to what Tabben's doing, because he's gonna focus on the shrines, not really pressure the base, and it's gonna give enough time to Kynesie to actually age. But is Tabben gonna follow up? I think he's actually gonna add hussars now.
Yeah, that looks like it, right? Stable coming in. I mean, you could do either thing here. You've got basically every vill on food there, could go up to the next stage, but he's got hussars in queue and he's built a stable, and it looks like that coin, as you're saying, is for a camp switch here. So going to get some of those units out. I like his decision to kill the TP. It looks like his opponent, is going up quite fast and would really value all that extra XP. But it is time spent sieging that is not on shrines, although he has done a good job of clearing them up as well. But looks like Kynesie now up to the Fortress Age, going up with the Golden Pavilion. So he has the extra stats and also the Yumi archers that have popped out. And with the Besterios here, Kynesie looks like he's got a pretty reasonable army and now is able to push out. We'll see what his first Fortress Age shipment is. Here comes the British timing, though, staying colonial, and he's outside his walls, but he sees the units and he's got plenty of time to get back inside and away from those LBs. That's
a problem, right? He aimed for a timing, but it was too late. Like, his timing comes in way too late. Usually you do that because you expect Japan to go a little bit more greedy and age up later, or if they stay colonial, you anyway have a good mass. But here, like, Tabben was not ready for it. He was in the middle island, not even ready to push, and now he's coming in, but there's already a first shipment for Japan, and if he can call Minutemen,
there they are.
He's probably gonna be alright, and maybe fight a little bit with bills. I
5 more Hussar coming in, and those are going to add to the power of the British army here. They'll be very strong against those Yumi and Besterios, and there aren't really any Ashies left. The 8 shipment has now gone down, so this is looking okay with that reinforcing batch, but there are Ashigaru in queue, and that's going to be what he needs to handle it. Just the 3 Ashies should be enough with that TC fire on the Hussars, and now you can see Japan looks like they've held quite well, and there are more reinforcing longbow, but too little too late. Japan has done what they needed to do. They survived that incoming pressure, and Japan finds themselves in the Fortress Age with an absolutely fine economy. They are behind, such is the way of things against the British. It is hard to stay ahead, but being in the Fortress Age is going to be really, really nice. And
yeah, and now he can probably ship 7 bills, and I expect Kynesie to do that quite soon. Like, he skipped the 4 bills so that he can age up faster. Now he has a momentum where he can just, like, clean up Tabben, and when he's stabilized and everything, he's probably gonna ship the 7 bills and catch up in eco, and it's gonna be a very solid position for Kynesie to be in at this point. And how do you deal with veteran Ashes at this point? Because it's snowballing, right? They're faster, so you can't dodge these Ashes. They just come on top of your stuff and kill your longbows, or they even can kite your musketeers. Like, So when you're behind, it's very tough. And you see Tabben shipping desperately 6 longbows to try to
keep
defend
this
that.
pressure up.
And
Looks like these longbows will be enough for the time being, though, forcing
Oh.
those Ashies away. But with 5 Naginata coming in as a shipment, and let's take a look at units in queue. No pikemen or anything like that. These archers, the longbow, find themselves out in the middle of the map. Of course, the Naginata times 1.5 versus infantry here. He's frantically trying to get away. He does have a hussar batch of 4. There it is. It's come out now onto the map, and that could be what he needs to defend the longbowmen. And that's coming out just in the nick of time.
Yeah, it's gonna help, but like he got nothing to deal with this unit composition. Like Musk has
and Minutemen being called.
And well, I guess Minutemen could maybe be enough to swing it, especially since the Ashes are attacking longbows in melee mode and not hussars. But at which cost, really? Like you know,
he's handled it though.
Cleaned up.
And but it looks, you know, up against Ashigaru. I guess the cav can snare them, but not really for long, and that really nice speed, they're going to be able to escape, more reinforcing Ashi. You're right, though. How do you deal against, you know, Fortress Age Japan with these upgrades? He's got 7 longbow in queue. Longbow very strong against this kind of heavy infantry, but we're going to see flaming arrows at some point as well, and it's just hard to keep up. Mind you, having said that, Kaiser, British, yes, they're an age down, but they do have quite good sort of late-game upgrades, and at the moment, a superior economy. Mind you, it's only 5 vils ahead with those 2 just being killed here. He does have a stronger eco, and this fight looks pretty reasonable, though there are reinforcing Ashi.
But again, like Kynesie got the potential to boom quite a lot with the villager cards. You see like 7 vils coming in. And all the trades are really efficient for Kynesie because his Ashes are H3 and they got the Golden Pavilion. So they're way stronger than longbows or whatever you need. Tabben is going to trade.
Flintlock coming in as well now. Going to get
33
really from
attack, man. He didn't even ship upgrades, but like they already got 33 attacks. So, you know.
Yeah, and it was just 3 unit shipments, one after the other, just to make sure he doesn't randomly, you know, die or something. And only now, when he feels absolutely comfortable, will he send those 7 villages. But that is a sign of Kynesie feeling comfortable, and now it's going to get even harder. Japan has just taken the lead in terms of economy. Flintlock is now in. These are really, really strong Ashigaru. Very, very powerful Japanese units. 6 musketeers coming in from Britain, and 700 food before that, and 6 longbow before that. All 3 of these shipments designed just to get as many units out on the field as possible. But I think it's too little too late, and it looks like Kynesie in a very good spot. And that's a really good sign for him going forward into this series, as we keep saying, that fish out of water. He's picked up game 1 fair and square on land versus Tabben. I shouldn't say that just yet, though. This is not over. It is still going, but it is looking pretty good for him.
He's won. Honestly, he has. Unless he really makes a big mistake, he has won this game. Like, there's no way. Tabben is running so much out of steam. Look, he doesn't have hunts either because of the shrines. He's going to move out on the map. It's going to be just a big Ashi raid party. There's Ashes on the top right, or Nagis, or whatever's running on top of Tabben's base. He's just got no way to deal with vet Ashes. And I was gonna say the only thing for going for Tabben is that Kynesie has to ship the cherry orchards. I was gonna say that like 1 or 2 minutes ago, but now he's in a position where he can actually ship them without any problem. Look at the eco. I guess Tabben's got rated pretty bad because he's already down 8 vils now. And what do you do here? I mean, it was just a good mind game from Kynesie, to be honest. You know, Kynesie, that guy that everyone expects to play always the same, always greedy, you know, and this time he just cut his 4-wheel shipment to age up much faster and mind game Tabben, right? So, and Tabben failed to recognize it. He could have maybe seen the 600 gold shipment in his deck that the ×2 had disappeared, you know, but he didn't notice that. So, that was just a good mind game from Kynesie, and we're gonna have a big push here from Tabben, so I guess it's his last chance to win this game. He has to make something happen just right now, and it is a sort of a timing just because Kynesie did have to ship his cherry orchards. But I'm quite sure Kynesie is gonna pop a unit shipment now, like the flaming arrows, and pop like 5 or 10 ashes and be okay. But we'll see.
But this could be it for him. He's got a bit of momentum to do some damage here. You know, Kynesie slowing down. 7 villages followed by 2 cherry orchards. It takes time for that to sort of pay off. Here, though, he's going for the racks, losing a few units whilst sieging. Does now switch to fighting here, but with the Shinobi no Moro coming out from the consulate, and it looks like he's looking to get into this fight or is trying to start one to stop the barracks from going down. We're probably going to see a shipment pop. But as it stands, I think British has got a good lead in terms of military here, and Musketeer attack coming in as well. He's frantically trying to take this down. Let's switch over to units in queue.
Yeah.
But he's going to resign anyway. He's not going to play out this fight. It looks like, though, he's still got a lot of military, but these units are so strong with the upgrades they've now got on them and of the inevitable shipment that is coming.
Yeah, he had more units, but half of them basically were on the way. So,
and big raid on the bottom as well. This is probably why Kynesie, pardon me, this is why Tabben resigned. Just because,
that is probably why.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just so over, basically. So, yeah, Kynesie does take game 1, but then again, this is Kamchatka, which is quite a good map for Japan, and it's Japan, Kynesie's main civ. So, you know, Japan is out of the way. Kynesie has to pick first now. Not the worst for Tabben. It was a game.
Yeah, British ahead on eco the whole game. I think, though, this would have sort of tapered off and this gap would have gotten less over time since Kynesie did catch up. But you don't need the eco. Once you're up and you have those super strong units as Japan in the Fortress Age, that eco gap is just closed by having stronger stuff. But let's take a look at the military unit population. And you can see here this engagement at the end, quite a lot of units lost trying to kill the barracks and that raid as well.
Like that first fight was an insane trade for Kynesie. Like, he's got just way less stuff and he cleans up like in his ways.
Yeah.
So
but that's
because the timing was too late, and he's got his power spike when Kynesie is already able to ship units and stuff. So
yeah, and that is too late then, because that's and you know, a tactical a slight change to his build, right? Tabben didn't see that Kynesie was going up sooner. Normally would send that 4-vil shipment, as you're saying. But he takes the victory, and this is looking really good for Kynesie.
Right.
As I keep saying, fish out of water. There's not that many water maps here, so he does need to perform on land. He can't rely on those water maps. But the next map will be Deccan, as you can see here, another land map. And it looks like Kynesie will be playing British this time. Kynesie has to select first, and he can no longer change his civ. Tabben now gets to select afterwards. British was the civ he played previously. Let's see what he goes for now on Deccan here.
I expect either France or India, because I know Tabben likes to be France against Brits. From my experience, he likes this matchup, I think. And India is just one of Tabben's main civ, and it just does really well on Deccan. So or maybe he could also mirror, I guess. So we'll have to see.
I mean, there is the Thar Desert to consider. India very strong on that map as well.
Yeah.
And using it here could be, you know, a problem. If he wins with India here, then he doesn't have it for later. So Tabben has to bear that in mind. And France also, it's a civ that he likes and is strong with, but it's also a very good counter, like a civ to play to not get countered. I would expect Tabben to pick France when he has to pick first off the back of a victory. True. So France also a civ that he might not want to play. Looks like he won't be going for the mirror, though. India is coming out, and it is a good choice.
Yeah. Then again, it's true that on Thar it's going to be a little bit concerning for Tabben. In the Tabben against Lucas series, Tabben had to go Aztecs because Lucas picked Aztecs, and there was nothing else Tabben could use to counterpick that. So he had to play Aztecs, and it's not one of his civs. And we might see the same thing later on against Kynesie here.
Yeah. We shall have to see. But ladies and gentlemen, get your shots ready, because apparently every time I say LAN, you must do one, as someone pointed out earlier. Welcome to game number 2 in a best-of-7 series between Tabben and Kynesie. This is a qualification series. The winner of this series will progress through and come to our LAN in Manchester in July. I'm pleased you're not doing shots for those words as well. You really would get messed up quite quickly. But let's start with Kynesie in the color red, playing as the British. A fish out of water, but he's picked up the first game. This is looking solid from him, and that is going to be the confidence boost that he needs. Previously, Kynesie went up against Kaiserklein, who I'm casting with right now, and the score was 4-1. That also was a qualification match, and the only game Kynesie won was one on water. So here is going to be feeling very, very good. He's playing British, and is getting into position to build a TP, as you often do see on Deccan. There is so many extra resources, market coming down as well, can buy wood with the coin, all of these good things. But is going to be giving up the yaks. You can see Tabben's already gotten 4, and he's going to get 6. And possibly even 8, because he, playing India, has the 2 elephants, which is part of the reason why they're good on Deccan here. They can grab a bunch of yaks and get that big XP boost. Of course, India don't eat them. And Kynesie, though, he is going for a trading post, but has not contested any of those yaks. But yes, Tabben spawning on the right-hand side in the color blue, playing as the Indians, also gotten his early market down as well. Actually has picked up every single yak there, so that's a really, really good start. Traditionally, we say that India is favored in this matchup, but being Deccan and all of these extra resources, it really changes things up quite a lot. And recently, British have been performing quite well on this map, no matter who they're up against, and indeed India as well, picking up 20 coin there, the British player. So don't count him out. I think Kynesie has a good shot here, but this is one of Tabben's stronger civilizations. He's looking to bring out the big guns now. Picks himself up 80 coin. Let's take a look at those treasures. Kynesie picks up 20 coin, and Tabben as well, so even, but Tabben a little bit further ahead. Looks like Kynesie has found one of the elephants. He's going into hand combat. Kaiser.
Yep.
What do you think?
I think he's going to be able to pull away. But about
yeah.
the matchup, I'd be Brits. Honestly, I'd be Brits and not India any day on this map. From my experience, just like, well, the rush is scary actually, but the Trivials and Virginia Company build is just so good on this map, and you can wall up as well, and we know that Kynesie will. And it just feels like Brits is much faster than India here, but we'll see how Tabben plays it. Tabben likes to go for his Sepoy Euromi stuff and ceasefire, you know, which is always a little bit tricky to play against. But I feel like if Kynesie plays it right, it should be good for Brits here.
Yep, but we'll see what happens. Looks like Tabben is going to go for a mid-map aggro fort. It does pick himself up map control in the center, which is nice, and indeed a coin mine and the surrounding hunts on the plateau where, you know, animals are very rich. But Kynesie, we expect this from him. Going to be going with walls immediately, going to be closing up this plateau entrance and indeed tactical positions around his base as well. This is, of course, the really open side of Deccan. There is a wall here being incorporated with the market and a villager in position as well, just to close off this other entrance, the smaller side there. But yeah, it looks like Tabben is getting his market upgrades in, has the forward aggro fort, and he is looking to just take map control really quickly. Kynesie, on the other hand, I think we're about to see Virginia Company come in with that trading post and is looking to play behind these walls, building his eco, and as you can see, clearly wants to get lots of walls down to defend that. Both players now up to the next stage. Virginia Company does come in, so that will be on the cards. But let's switch on over to units in queue. India is now up, and Tabben training Sepoy right off the bat.
Right, and Kynesie doesn't have a shipment. He will have one rather soon, just because he's gonna get lots of XP by building so many manors. But it's always a little bit awkward on Deccan, to be fair, that you delay your shipment when you go for Virginia Company. And I wonder if he's gonna go for Tuggies like he did against me on that map. Against India, Tuggies are quite good, to be honest. So it could be interesting if he would go for that. But then again, they also train really slowly, so he might want something a little bit faster than that. He's gonna get pressured. So I wonder if he's gonna cut his boom now and just drop a barracks, or if he's gonna go full Kynesie and just like TC fire with more walls, you know.
Looks like he's backing off, though. The TC is in range of these walls, and that's really nice, because that means he can actually defend them without actually having military units just out. Villagers going right back in there to defend the wall. Tabben now coming in is going to pull away that sepoy and just try and keep them alive, but one is going to go down there. Tabben does, Kynesie does redirect the TC. Fire is on top of that, and it looks like Tabben not going to get through this wall, not without reinforcements here, or having to waste a lot of time going around the back or something like that. Now coming in with 5 more, and it does look like that he will be making a saloon. There is one in queue right here, so is fully intending to go for the Thuggies, which for those that don't know are a really powerful skirmisher unit.
Right. Then again, Tabben is not sepoy rushing or something. He's shipped the wood trickle himself. Could have actually been maybe 600 wood for a stagecoach if you want to go greedy, but he went for the wood trickle, so he's more trying to trigger a reaction from Kynesie and doing actual direct damage, right? He's just like forcing Kynesie to TC fire, forcing Kynesie to train units, just delaying his Virginia Company boom. You can see that Kynesie is at only 140 mana pop, which is not a ton considering that he shipped Virginia Company. So, and he's gonna get the TP now. So Tabben doing reasonable damage without actually overcommitting to pressuring too much, and looks like he's gonna go for the stagecoach now with 600 wood on top. He's picking a TP, sieging down Kynesie's TP, so I think we're gonna see that.
Yeah,
and that is a reasonably good play from Tabben. I think we'll have to see if he can handle the middle game, basically, because there's gonna be a window where Brits has much more eco still, and India will be slower, so it's gonna be interesting.
But looks like the marathon Tuggies, as you would call them, have arrived. 45 ranged attack, 18 range. Of course, their rate of fire is much slower than an ordinary skirmisher, but really expensive and very expensive units. They're costing 6 population because it is an outlaw, but they're going to be really good for defending. Thank you, Squan, for the subscription. Hello, sexy voice Will. Thank you very much for the 10 months. And indeed, Riot Coat gifting a sub to Hazard as well earlier. I did miss that, but thank you very much, guys. Looks like, though, 2 trading posts are up and 1 has been destroyed. And Tabben has just, I think, dumped down the final one there, or has gotten his elephants in position to build the final one. I think he's actually... I saw 200 wood disappear, which is why I thought this went down. It must have been the stagecoach. So it looks like Tabben is going to research that. He's done a little bit of damage early on, and look at this reaction he's forced. 4 Thuggies and a saloon, right? These are a lot of gold. So it's not like he hasn't done any damage. He forced that TC Thar, as you said, and perhaps a bit of an overreaction, another 4 Thuggies. Whereas behind this, Tabben's like, I don't care. I'm just building stagecoaches and making my eco and stuff like that. But Kynesie investing in lots of units here, so not so good for him.
As well. He's got a stable, so it could be another mind game from Kynesie here, just maybe pushing out in Colonial, which is something you would not expect at all from him. Like, you would expect him to just turtle and age up and tech. But look, he's training Huss and got Thuggies, and it's quite a scary unit composition, because...
Skirm Huss.
Well, what do you do here? Do you train Sowars? Because Sowars are, like, just bad against Huss, and they also... I mean, they do kill Thuggies.
Oh, and look at this as well, getting involved. The Treasure Guardians. He's built it very close to the Delinquent Thuggies and the White Tigers, and they are going to be doing damage. He's got Mother Nature on his side. It looks like Kynesie now pushing out with the Thuggies, and has the benefit of Mother Nature. It's now on Tabben to try and defend his Agra Fort, coming in with his Sepoy Mass, but up against Thuggies, they're going to take a lot of damage here.
He can probably buy time with his Sepoy, but cost. Like,
Minutemen coming out to defend this.
Yeah, Kynesie needs to go back, though. I mean, he can't just, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's a lot of Sepoy, right? Yeah. I don't think he can fight that, but then Thuggies are so strong. I don't know. 5 more
Sepoy. Yeah,
I
looks
don't
like
know.
he's...
Yeah, that is unfortunate for Kynesie. I don't know why he overstayed there. He could have forced Minutemen and just gone back. Because each Thuggie is, like, 150 coins, so that's
a lot of coin. I think perhaps
more than 1k coin gone down the drain now.
Maybe he just pushed out because he was expecting more pressure from Tabben and just had all these units that were not really doing anything. Regardless, let's see what he did. He pushed out, and Tabben's still having to deal with the Treasure Guardian, but there is 300 wood in it. So, and they're still sieging the Delinquent Thug's very, very strong. They've got 500 HP and 30 attack here, and now it's got some dacoits in as well, and reinforcing musketeers and hussars. And it looks like now Kynesie is going to be able to finish up this Agra fort, but out come some Sepoy. He's now going to have to rely on the Delinquent Thuggies, and it looks like 10 Tiger Claws coming out as well, so will Tabben save the barracks? I don't know, but he'll certainly, the Agra fort rather, but he is going to repel Kynesie away. More Thuggies, more Musketeers coming out.
Oh, there's quite a lot of reinforcement for Kynesie though, and that's a really good positioning with the trees, so he might be just fine here. But yeah, just one thing I want to say about that treasure.
And the Agra fort is going to go down. The Thuggies are going to finish it off for him. Who gets the XP though? Who gets the XP? I guess Mother Nature. And yeah, taking some units off to deal with the Thuggy because he doesn't want it to go down. 73 HP. Back to the fight here. And it looks like the Musketeers will be enough, but actually reinforcing Sepoy, a batch of 5 plus a 5 shipment and 5 Soar as well. And it looks like he's taking 3 musks off to try and take down the Agra fort. He wants to finish it off.
Maybe with the Explorer, maybe he can just RD his Explorer and...
that would earn him a disqualification, Kaiser. Does save it, 36. Yeah, I know you know. Oh my goodness, it's so close. It will cost him 400 food to repair it, but yeah, I think Kynesie really wanted to take that down, but look, 6 Musketeer shipment followed by 6 Longbowmen, and of course reinforcing units. Has quite a few units here, and is once again able to push back. Not so many Soar here.
Tabben's stacking so much food, he can definitely repair his Agra fort and then pick up the treasure.
Yeah, the treasure is ripe for the taking. Anyone can have it. Yeah. 4 Soars coming out. Both players funneling military unit shipments into this location. Tabben cannot lose his Agra fort. And, well, certainly doesn't want to. And now is able to push Kynesie back behind the walls finally. More units coming out. Let's take a look at the economies, though. It's very even, but India is behind by a few villages. There is 300 wood just sitting here, though.
India is ahead, actually, with the stagecoach by quite a bit.
Oh, that's true, actually. I forgot about that. So, yeah, India has... He's coming out, though.
Is the Agra repaired?
Yeah, it is repaired.
Yeah, he repaired it. Yeah, that's... that was really tense, I think. But
I want to know who gets the wood shipment.
You know, that kind of snowballed just because at the start of the fight, Kynesie just let his thuggies kind of die to the Sepoys popping. You know, he didn't have the greatest unit control there. I think Kynesie could have broken that Agra fort, but he just started really poorly this fight and just wasted lots of units at start, I think. And one thing I want to say is that when you play India on Deccan and place your Agra fort in the middle, which you usually do, always pick up the treasures. Just use your first Sepoys to kill the treasure guardians, then pick it up. Like, you get 300 wood or whatever, it's really nice. And then this can't happen. Like, you don't get tricked by the treasure, because he almost lost his Agra basically because of that treasure. So kind of a mistake here from Tabben, not cleaning the treasure beforehand. And also he should really take it. It's 300 wood, so...
I guess his monks, where are they? No, they are alive. I guess he hasn't realized that it's dead. Maybe he thinks he just needs to check it. But his elephants are right here, and he can pick it up. And even if the elephants were dead, a shipment, a villager arrives for free, and you could have it arrive at the outpost and use the villager to gather up the treasure. But looks like he's now going to push out. He's gotten some extra units, and now Camel Attack coming in can take out this barracks, which is just outside the walls. It looks like with the downtime here, Kynesie decided it's time to go and siege down the trading post. And if he can build that himself, that'll be really nice, since it is a stagecoach and is just adding in some walls as well. But he's going to have to bring his units home as soon as that's destroyed, because Blue is knocking on his door, and now lots of different units out, as well as the Gardner Hussars. He's got Gurkha and Sepoy and all of these things now pushing in. And India looking quite formidable with 78 unit population. British only on 45. But he does have lots of walls.
Which is actually inflated by a lot, because he's got some Thuggies. And Kynesie is aging up. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Oh, no, we didn't. He's halfway aged, going up with, let's take a look, the Adventurer for 7 longbows.
Yeah, and the thing is that these longbows outrange everything, and they do just very good damage. And Tabben's not going in because he's not sure if Kynesie is aging or not. And this might be just giving enough time to Kynesie to rebuild the wall and to just age up safely, get 2 falconets, and defend any kind of pressure. But Tabben is following up now, I think. I can't. Yeah, I think he's gonna follow up, right?
Yeah, he's got all the resources he needs for the age up. He's macroed perfectly for that. He's probably identified there's not much of a response from Kynesie and wants to get up.
So
does lose
in
a villager
hindsight,
there.
this tentative to push out from Tabben it didn't pay off, right? Pushing out from from Kynesie was just it didn't pay off. It was pretty bad for Kynesie. It was kind of a mind game just because everyone expects him to be so passive, and it just didn't pay off. And so now he's aging, but he could have been up way earlier. In fact, like when you think about it, he could have gone for this typical Musk longbow semi-FF and just been in an okay spot, like in a really good spot even. But he did try that mind game and it just didn't work. And now I
It
think
almost
Tabben
worked.
is quite ahead.
It would have been, I think, a bit different if the Agra fort had gone down. It certainly would have been a bit better for Kynesie then. But, I mean, let's assess the position now. Like, certainly that's what he did, and perhaps he shouldn't have done. I mean, being surprising and doing things that aren't expected is, if you can, a good thing, especially if you can get away with them. But the ecos are very even, despite the trade post, so I guess India is ahead. But he's not out of the woods just yet, and has Jaegers. I guess the saloon is down, and Jaegers are pretty good units.
Oh, that's huge actually.
Yeah, British don't normally get skirmishes, and now they've got some. And 2 falconets have arrived as well, and he's pushing out just as India is aging here. Has 2 falcons, and probably will be able to take down the Agra.
Is he training Jaegers right now, or?
Let's take a look at units in queue and find out. Not anymore, just musketeers in queue, but he's got 5 of them actually.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets the wood treasure as well with the villager.
Oh, yeah, that is just a big mistake from Tabben. Like,
Tabben's going up to the industrial age. He's not trained a single unit and he's got nothing in queue. He's building a town center as we speak and is macroing for the age up. He's got the resources he needs and has dropped the wonder. Let's take a look for it. Here it is.
Yeah, that's just a typical the current meta for Indian EPs, just to age up and get your ceasefire and your Euromies and depoys and stuff. And I personally think it's not always the best way to do it. I feel like Tabben would have been better off just staying age 3 because now he's kind of taking risks by aging up, and he's going to have to handle that push now. Imagine if Tabben just made more units and got maybe siege elephants. Maybe he could have just defended that like right now. But in fact, he's aging up, and
with the Shalmanar gates,
pay that by quite a bit of losses.
What does the Shalmanar gates? It grants a Mahout, doesn't it? I believe, or perhaps I think it's
it's a Mahout, and you can train Menzabdar units. I think
Mansabar units. Look at this, and a raid coming out. 4 random hussars. Although there is a TC quite nearby, but it looks like Kynesie is going to get quite a few of these villages. Slow reaction from Tabben. I think every single one of them is going to go down. They're all very low HP, bar 1 there. So a nice pickup.
He split them really nicely, actually. Split each house on 1 vill, so he kills 5 with his 5 house shipments. So shipping 5 house already paid off, right? Kind of like he killed 5 vills. So
yeah, but this could not be ideal. Did kill a lot of villagers, and that stomp is going to finish them off. None of them is escaping, but the ceasefire, it comes in just as he's trying to say he's got his Yurumi shipment, but it actually saves the hussars. Oh my goodness. But he's still going to have to get away. Ceasefire has been called, and this is now time for Kynesie to try and escape, because he does not want those Yurumi to get anywhere near his army. They're so good when they get up close, but look at these falconets. They're being, they're coming out. There's a lot of cav here, elephants, camels, and indeed hussars as well. And it looks like the cannons will just go down, and the Yurumi, they are on top of the musketeers, and it looks like this fight is going to be absolutely insane for India. All of these British units going to get cleaned up, and that's not looking good.
That's GG.
GG coming out. And it looks like Tabben will pick up the second game here with the ceasefire, with the Fortress Age, Industrial Age timing, gets those 2 Mahouts, uses his ceasefire once the Yurumi shipment does arrive. It was a 7 Yurumi, actually. It was a Fortress Age Yurumi shipment.
So he basically didn't use his age up. The only thing is that the 7 Yurumis were already upgraded to industrial, but he shipped only 7 and not 9. he didn't get any other industrial tech. So despite spending like 3K2 resources into aging, he was just able to clean up directly. So that was
Hot
just
damn.
pretty. Yeah, India was just quite ahead after these trades under the Agra fort were just really good for India, and he had the stagecoach the whole time, and Kynesie just put himself really behind early on by trying to push in colonial, but it was a respectable attempt at the mine game, right? Like, who would expect Kynesie to push out like that?
Yeah, let's take a look at military unit population. You see him pushing out, and the fight just doesn't go quite well. Remember, a lot of this pop for Kynesie is 6-pop thuggies, which get killed off. But clearly, British come out ahead there, and in terms of value, it didn't go so well. Kaiser's saying he should have just aged sooner and not bothered pushing out, and had a stronger sort of fortress age timing or something like that, and then.
In hindsight, he should have aged, but it's hard to say because it was a really interesting mind game. Just like in previous game, it could have worked again. But Tabben, like he expected Tabben to be aging himself, I believe, because it's what you would usually do when you're Tabben and you just go Sepoy Euromi. But in fact, Tabben stayed colonial a bit longer, so he was able to defend that push.
Yeah, but such is the way of things. I am interested to see the all resources gathered graph. Tabben was ahead that whole game, to be expected. He had similar villager numbers with the stagecoach, but Tabben does even the series to 1-1, and that could have been a different game had the push gone better earlier for Kynesie. Did not work out perhaps the way he was hoping, but it's okay. He's got a point on the board, and up next, I think he's going to be very pleased about this. It will be New England. This could be the one and only water map that he gets to play this series, the last one being Florida. If he gets all the way to the end, then he'll be in a very good spot. I think he'll be very pleased to play there. Tabben has to do everything he can to stop Kynesie. He has to win before we get to that point. I don't think Tabben really wants to fight Kynesie on his own terms on another water map. New England is the only one, I think, that we will for sure see, which is going to be next. It's going to be right now. The other water map, Baja California, was vetoed by Tabben. They get one veto each. So this map, I think, Kynesie is going to be very pleased with. Tabben's gone with China. He had to pick first, and in response, Kynesie going to play the Ottoman by the looks of it.
Yeah, so two things I want to say. First thing, just like Kynesie can't play Japan anymore, Tabben can't play India anymore. And India being rather strong in the current meta and being also one of the main Tabben civs, it's pretty good for Kynesie that India is out of the way. And the second thing is, I hope we're going to see a good game now, because if there's one map Tabben must have prepared, it has to be New England, right? Because it's the most tricky map against Kynesie. I personally prepared only one map when I played against Kynesie, and it was New England. Well, I kind of prepared, maybe not enough, but
yeah, that was quite the game. It looked like you had him, but not in the end. But yes, go on.
I had a good build, and then I fell apart, and I just didn't bother to do it. Did it twice against Maito, lost twice, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And anyway, I hope Tabben prepared something, and it should be interesting. China is not a very standard pick here, but then again, Kynesie not going for ports. I think China was a counter pick to ports because we know that China fast industrial is.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you're go on. Yep.
Yeah, we have seen in the Monasif tournament we have seen Dictator playing against Lucas, Portuguese against China, and China just going fast industrial and doing like insane timings with flying crows and that kind of stuff. And I think Tabben picked China preemptively, trying to counter ports, but Kynesie is like, I'm not gonna go ports, I'm gonna go auto, and so maybe that's not exactly the matchup Tabben expected. He's even asking like auto locked, even though Kynesie doesn't have to lock because he's counter picking, right? But he's like, oh, are you sure you want to play auto? Not ports.
Yeah, it's not actually locked. Only the first player, as you say, Tabben, is the one who has to lock. But just confirming Kynesie won't change. He's probably very, very surprised. You're absolutely right. We would just expect. It just makes so much sense to play Portuguese here. Those extra TCs that you can put by the pond or next to the ocean, the fishing potential that Portuguese has. I think Tabben really had something prepared here, but now he's going to have to wing it or do something else, or just essentially play a standard game. He can't do whatever it was he had in mind that he thought would be strong against Kynesie. And we will indeed have China versus Ottoman. Oh my goodness.
He's probably going to go water anyway, though. He does it with Otto quite a lot. But I wonder actually why Kynesie didn't do that against me, because I picked Brits first on that map expecting ports, and I had a plan. But if he picked Otto, I would have been like, what?
Yeah, he's evolving. So, he's done this before. I remember that one time on Florida, or was it Manchuria, where we were expecting him to go water, but he actually just does this land rush, and everyone's like, oh my god, but he did lose in the end. But I think he knows he has to be a bit unpredictable, otherwise he'll just lose to these really prepared builds, like, for example, that you had versus him, those really powerful timings. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 3 in a best-of-7 series between Kynesie and Tabben. The winner of this series will go to the LAN. The loser will be eliminated. This is our 6th qualification series to find the top 8 that will compete in Manchester at our studio in July. Spawning on the right-hand side of the map in the color blue, we do have China with their set crate start, 300 wood and a goat, which he could use to do some scouting. I'd like to see that. Of course, there are sheep on this map, and you want to go and find them. The disciple is going off to the back there, but Tabben going to come forward with his monk and drop an early trading post really, really far forward. And it looks like Kynesie going to do the same here. Neither player actually going up. You usually see players going up the side of the map because you can scout some of these sheep on the way to build your trading post, and you don't really miss that much of a pass because this route is very, very short. Tabben not going to get that pass by the looks of it. Both players going for an early TP though, Kaiser.
Yeah, well, that's quite standard nowadays for China, and obviously has always been standard for Otto. I understand that Otto went that way just because he is afraid of the Chinese explorer and disciple. So maybe he doesn't want to go on top where he's expected to go just because he might get caught. But I don't know why China went there, because by going on top, you might even find some sheep, which are really valuable for China. However, he does find a 95 wood instead, which is quite lucky actually, because usually you don't even have a treasure there on this map, I think. Usually they're all on the left or top,
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is in an effort to improve the gold mine distribution, Guardia changed the way the map spawns. Instead of the treasures were one of the first things to get placed, and now instead I think the hunts and mines are the first thing, and the sheep are the first things to get placed, and then the treasures find an available spot afterwards, which means they're probably in slightly different locations than sort of usual.
But did you check the resources? I can't really do it because it's a little bit blurry for me, but does Kynesie have gold mines? Or it looks like his side is a little bit screwed. I'm not sure. I can't see so much on the screen share.
Yeah, we should have thought. He's got 2 gold mines, and it looks like that Tabben has also 2, but there's this one central one, which is sort of his.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's in the middle, right?
It is in the middle. So it's kind of like they got 2 mines each.
Yeah, it's
but they all do seem to be much closer to Kynesie, but it's fine. And also Kynesie will go to the island where there is a coin mine as well. So
and Kynesie does have a back mine, right, which is better, so it makes up for it.
Okay. So we're good for the map. Everything's fine. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. At the LAN, though, we will have a dedicated team. The way I imagine this, 80 food, they're going to Kynesie, is we'll have the casters spawn in with the players and another PC as well, which a committee, I imagine just 3 people who we have decided will do this. We'll spawn in on the map, check the resources, and then we'll leave the game once they've decided that it's okay, or inform us if they think or recommend a rehost. But map seems okay here, and we are now into age 2. Looks like China is going to be aging up any second now, and Kynesie well on his way to the next stage. Also built a mosque there for that 0.7 XP per second, and has his trading post as well. Let's take a look at economic units here. I want to take a look at the goats, and it looks like Tabben is slightly ahead. That makes sense. He has a disciple. Ottoman does not. And in terms of treasures here, it looks like Tabben is doing very, very well. He got that 90 wood that we saw earlier, or 95 wood, and indeed 80 food, 90 food just now as well. But Kynesie, he found 80 food, but actually Tabben is ahead in this age 1, to be expected. He has a stronger explorer and a disciple. Oh dear, this could really solidify his age 1. Going to hunt down that, his name is Kebab Hunter, is not going to be hunted today, is going to get away. So those are the standings thus far. Both players aging, and it looks like Ottoman going to be up now. And we've already seen, it looks like his first shipment is going to be a water shipment in the forward pond there. He's already moved his flag, so obviously you don't get anything from the politicians, but 2 galleys is in his deck, and it looks like we're going to see that first from the Ottoman player.
I would be surprised. I don't see what he would do with 2 galleys there. I think he's just...
Maybe it's mind games? Like his opponent will see the flag and will think, oh, you're going 2 galleys?
He can't see it, so I think it's just a mind game.
I think he can see it. That is definitely in line of sight.
You can't, it's invisible for your opponent. You can't see the water flag.
Oh, right. And, it's only as a caster that we can see it. Okay, oh my goodness, I never knew that.
The point is that I think it's age 1, and Kynesie has a lot of APM to spare, so he decided to just drop his water flag already there, and then it's done, you know? He doesn't have to do it later when he's maybe pressured, you know? And he put it right in the best spot where he's sure both of his galleys will spawn, right? Because we've seen players getting on galley, and it's just extremely annoying. And sometimes you ship your galleys and you're like, oh boy, I need to drop my water flag quick, but I don't have line of sight, you know, and you send your explorer super fast or a villager or whatever. And I think Kynesie just plays it.
That makes sense. That's true. You've got not a lot to do as the Ottomans. You're not queuing villages. You're only managing 1 scout. And you're right. It's not really too much to do. So that makes sense. Has got a really nice spot, because I think originally it was here, which I wouldn't like because it's not enough space for both the galleys to spawn, but there's plenty of water there. And you do have to be really careful. If one of your boats don't spawn, that's on you. New England has been around since the start of the game, and these players, these really, this is the top 16 here trying to qualify. I think they should know by now how that works. But yes, both players up to the next stage here, and it looks like, being a very strong water player, you're absolutely right, is going to place down another trading post with his 700 wood. Oh, and this is a fast fortress. 700 coin already in.
Wait, 9 pikes for China. That's kind of weird. But Kynesie has grinded quick search a lot on water, so he knows about New England, right? And also, I wanted to say he's gonna age up with a caravel for sure. Caravel and 400 wood. He will not ship 2 galleys, I believe. I mean, he's gonna age up with a galley and 400 wood. That's my guess. But he's also trying to take the TP line at the same time. That tower will not go down just because the galley will protect it, but the TP line might be in a little bit of trouble here. But I don't know why Tabben is trying to play it H2, or is he going to ship? He kind of needs to ship his own warships at this point, right? Because how else is he going to destroy that front base with the tower and the galley?
Yeah. Janissary's coming out as well, just right on time. The galley will spawn, so they're absolutely safe. And the galley has, very high stats. It's going to be able to defend this, even moving it even more, just to make sure it's closer to his opponent. And although it spawned on further away from the flag than he was hoping, I think he was intending to get an extra shot in by moving that flag. But yeah, going into cover mode to try and take less damage. Did lose quite a few of those Jans, but the pressure is now deflected. And Tabben, still age 2, has not invested in any eco, and has just shipped 2 military shipments back to back, and the only thing it's achieved is killing a TP.
Yeah,
actually 2 TPs, I suppose.
He's delayed his age up by so much, and now he's getting 700 wood in. He gathered everything for the age up. He didn't ship 700 coin, but still, he will have just 1 shipment. Kynesie probably had 2 shipments ready because he took so many trading posts, so he's gonna get like 8 Jans and 2 Falks and right-click Tabben before he even gets 1 of his own H3 shipments, I believe. Like 2 Falks gonna pop next just when Tabben is up. Although he did ship Jans at home, which is a bit of a mistake. I think he wanted them maybe in that forward tower. Or maybe that's just because he's gonna siege down the TP.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see if Tabben can defend that pressure, but that's gonna be a nice window for Otto to do lots of damage, just because Tabben age is he delayed his age up by so much.
Yeah, he's now halfway aged. Does have 8 villagers on that to make up for the slow aging time. But
and he's
1,000 wood coming out from Kynesie. Is this a water switch? I wonder what that's all about. Or perhaps he wants his houses and things down. I mean, he's got the stagecoach here. Perhaps he's... there it is. He's now just in. I wonder what that's all about. We were expecting 2 falconets for a bit of pressure, but no.
Yeah, it would have been great. I mean, it's like I would say, okay, 1k wood is for the stagecoach and the TP, but looks like he already has the wood for that, so I guess he's just gonna make ton centers. But honestly, 2 falconets, like, you can ship 1k wood after your falconets, after you're pressured, but like, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of strange to me. Like, he had the perfect window to
Okay.
go for falconets and try to push, but
Yeah, but there is going to
looks
be a
like,
town center. I
yeah.
know what you mean, right? Because that timing, especially with China aging late, 2 Falcons is just going to get a lot of damage done, and then you can get out of there after that, after you've done a little bit of damage and ship the 1,000 wood. But no, he wants to get his town center down now, and I think that's just something Kniese's comfortable doing, right? He's used the wood to get his veteran Janissaries in.
Uh,
Falconets have now arrived, but behind this, he's got a TC, which is going to defend this water more nicely, and he's going to be able to keep his lead on the water. On this pond, and this galley will be safe because it won't be destroyed by just some random Chinese water
yeah.
shipment. But Falconet's now coming in, and this coin shipped to the village. It looks like they
Tabben
will
is
be able to
trying
gather
go
that up.
job as well. He's going industrial. And he edged up with a skirmisher wonder. So I get that he wants the flying crows to contest the pawn, maybe. Like, getting the flying crows from this wonder to attack the galley would be pretty nice. But is he already gonna try to go industrial against Otto now? It's kind of really ballsy.
I think I said 8 Falcs when I meant 8 Janissaries, and everyone's lolling at me in the chat. I'm not sure if that's the case, but 8 Falcs is quite funny, yeah. Looks like, though, you are right, he's aging. He's still trying to age, but he's got to handle these Falconets. And he's not training units. But,
Yeah, this is a really strange game. I mean, boss
here we
players
go,
just
big
play
volley!
kind of weird.
Just the one, actually.
I'm quite confused. Also, why would you age up with a skirmisher wonder to H3 if you're gonna go H4? Then usually you age up with the tower of or whatever it's called, the
Right,
porcelain
right.
tower,
For the
which
4
can
wood per
help you
second.
go H4 faster, and then in H4 you age up with the skirmisher wonder because you get more skirms out of it. I'm a little bit confused about this
He's now going up with the
strategy from
porcelain
Tabben.
tower, so he will have an even stronger porcelain tower. But
Yeah, that's
maybe
super
he
greedy
needs
though. I
maybe he
mean,
needs
it's
the
not
7
like
skirmishers
Kynesie
to help him
water
defend,
booming.
right? To help him get to the industrial age. Maybe that's his line of thought.
Yeah, but do they though? Since there's 2 falconets, and you
Yeah.
know there's gonna be 2 falconets. I feel like it's just a little bit messy from
Okay.
Tabben here.
But
I think he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. He's playing it like Kynesie would be going full boom, you know, like aging up with the tower to H4 to get more eco out of it. But like, realistically, Kynesie has a solid eco,
but he's
he's
bleeding out
Otto,
Abbas
he's
guns
not
here.
water booming. Oh,
So-
that is not a good trade.
yeah,
for
that's not
Kynesie.
too good. He could have them back behind the Falcs, and the Falcs could supply covering fire. He's just
And
going to fight
TC
with them,
Fire
though,
doing-
whilst the... Yeah, TC Fire also
Yeah.
killing them. The Jan's in the back, they're trying to kill off the Wonders, but not going to be able to do that now. Looks like he is now up to the next stage, to the Industrial Age. Do you think he got enough damage in, or perhaps it was... Like, I was expecting Kynesie to do more damage and Tabben to not get away with quite so much and have to be would be more punished for going up to the Fortress Age. But he's now, pardon me, the Industrial Age, but he's now up. He has a shipment available. And take a look at his deck. He's got some very powerful shipments in here.
Yeah, I don't know what to believe. We'll have to see what happens now. I really have no idea how this is gonna go. They're both playing it unexpectedly, I think. Kynesie going for this 1k wood and delaying his push. I think he could have literally right-clicked Tabben's TC if he went for 2 falconets second card in H3. But yeah, Kynesie is out booming Tabben, I think, by quite a bit with the full stage coach and the extra TC. I don't know if he's got 2 extra TCs or only 1.
Just the one extra TC.
Yeah. And there's still the Gali, which is not super scary against H4, but it does help. I don't know how Tabben is going to do now.
Yeah, 1,000 gold coming in. Perhaps he wants to follow up to Industrial as well, question mark? Or perhaps it'll just be used to ship the Mamelukes, or maybe even just fund Abbas gun production. If we take a look at units in queue, he does have a
maybe-
foundry.
Maybe coverings.
Ah,
'cause
yeah.
yeah. Oh, there we are. Well, no, 1k gold at the tower. Oh,
There are villagers nearby, though. This town center's been pumping them out. But yeah, it is-
yeah, but Tabben's gonna maybe push now. I don't know. I mean,
That
it's
would
just
be
not
awkward.
it's just always scary to have your 1k
Yeah.
gold up here.
both
right?
these players, I think, making you know, I think they're both very nervous. This is probably one of the biggest games they've ever played to qualify for the LAN, and silly mistakes happening. We saw, you know, Cold coming to the tower, and Tabben just maybe dropping Industrial when he perhaps shouldn't have done. Things like that.
Although
But
he's kind of getting
Kynesie,
away with it. I believe that he should not get away with going industrial like that against Otto, but he kind of did.
yeah, he
Maybe
looks like
knowing
he's
that Kynesie is not an overly aggressive player and he could get away with industrial.
and Kynesie
But
taking his sweet time to do anything. Look, he's sort of just like standing here with his boats. He's juggled these units twice, going from one end of the pond to another, and he's going to do it again. I don't really know what he's looking for, but he doesn't feel comfortable to push just yet. Maybe waiting for these extra 2 Falcons. He's got his 2 Culves in as well. I think Kynesie wants to make sure that against any unexpected artillery, he's just got what he needs to handle it. And maybe that's the safer thing to do if you are really nervous, just have 2 Culverins on hand. But it is concerning because Tabben up to Industrial, we're going to see some solid shipments coming out. Mind you, though, the village is denied, and the XP could be a real issue. Population for Tabben.
although he does have the H4
2 flying
porcelain
crows.
tower probably set to wood.
Yeah.
And that is probably like 10 vills and wood. It's 5 wood per second, right? So
5.5 wood per second, which is the equivalent of 12 villages by the sounds of it. No, sorry, 11 villages. I was looking at the Imperial Age one.
That's 10 bills. It's 0.5 on wood per. It's 10 unupgraded bills, but yeah.
Sure, it says 11 on the UI here, but
I don't know why.
At that point in the game, you do want to take in upgrades. You're right. Does finally get his coin. I think he forgot about it, or maybe that one vill was just taking a while. But he needs to be really friggin' careful here. All those units in the galley, and the Flying Crows could just one-bang the galley. God, I was nervous for a sec, but the Culverins get a really nice shot, but then the Flying Crows, they are industrial.
Oh. And a frigate.
Oh!
Oh my god.
He killed all the Falcons and the Coals! This has gone horribly wrong. Does manage to take out one of the Flying Crows, 2 of the Flying Crows, but his whole army... Oh, wait, no. There's more.
Yeah, but he's so behind in military, and he's got just 2 Falcons against Flying Crows, and look, 1 Falconet down already. Second one probably gonna go down.
Yeah.
And then what does Kynesie have to challenge this well, I don't know if they are upgraded to industrial, probably not, but how is Kynesie gonna challenge his army now anyway? I guess he can just remass a little bit more. Even if China is gonna be able to ship some big unit shipments, Otto probably has way more eco at this point, but it's just a bit of a sloppy game, right?
Yeah.
And Tabben's adding a TC on top. That is interesting.
Okay. I think he was just trying to juggle the Culves and like shoot with them, take down the Flying Crows, put them back in the galley, and then juggle them back out again and shoot the Flying Crows. But Tabben saw that the second they popped out and was on point. It's like he was standing there waiting, and he took down the I think 2 Falcons and 2 Culverins with the volley of Flying Crows. And Flying Crows in the Industrial Age are super strong. Look, taking a lot of shots from these 2
volleys, though.
Yeah, and he's got a galley just to go straight back into. Well, Flying Crows though are really strong once you get to the Industrial Age. They shadow tech, and he's gotten quite a few of these. 2 more Flying Crows, that infinite shipment. But what's going on here? Are the pirates attacking it? They are. There are pirates. It's going to take them out. But down the south here, the Culverins, 2 more being destroyed there.
Yeah, Kynesie maybe not controlling his artillery as the best he could.
Yeah, 2 more culls coming out. Oh, they're falconets, pardon me.
Yeah, but he can't do much with falconets without coverings, just because the Flying Crows are going to dominate the falconets so much.
They're so good, right? They got so much HP compared to a Falc, and they one-hit Falcs with their 285 damage, and with the Area 5, it's quite impressive. And they're quite good against buildings as well. You can see 28 range, the same as a Falcon. Okay, yeah,
so you can still outrange them with coverings, or even with a frigate, actually. With good micro, Kynesie could prevent... Yeah, he can prevent them from going too close to the pond just because of that frigate. So that's interesting. Maybe we could see Tabben training some hand mortars at this point, just to clean up the pond and the buildings.
Yeah, coming forward. He's going to take down a village for free. There's nothing there to stop him. And there's no cav out here, so it's not like these Falconets can be taken down super fast, and they can get back inside the boats if they need to, but they are quite far away.
Yeah, what he's doing with his falconets.
Oh, he's trying to get back now. Escape! To the boat!
Oh!
Ah! To the boat! Yeah! It's in! He saved it!
Oh, he saved it, okay.
Yeah, but it's got not very much HP, and 2 more flying crows! We see for the third time.
They're not in a good position. They're gonna just get picked off by Jans in mini mode, and that is such a strange game, but really entertaining. I think there's lots of actions and lots of weird stuff going on, but eventually, I guess it's gonna be good for Kynesie just because he's gonna have more eco. But then again, China also has a really good late game, and Otto doesn't. Adding a dock in the pond, so he's gonna train more frigates most likely.
Yeah,
and that could
perhaps
be
even
really annoying for Tabben to deal with.
Yeah, that's what's giving him the edge here over the flying crows, right? And just so much safety and control. It just means if Kynesie doesn't have the numbers, it doesn't matter. He can just go back to the pond and garrison, or even fight near the frigates, and it just changes the maths. It just means, like, even if you're behind on military units, the boats just make up for it, and it's such a safety net to have. And looks like mills are now going up at home, switching over to food, and a third TC coming in for Tabben as well.
Yeah, he has to be really careful to not give too much map control to Tabben. Although the good thing is that since Kynesie controls a pawn, he can push either on the left or on the right of the pawn, which means that Tabben has to, like, right now Tabben is keeping his army on top, so Kynesie could just go on the right and clean up maybe one wonder or something like that. It's just really annoying to not have the control of your pawn on this map. But still, it's China. He's got 3 TCs up, training a castle, probably gonna train some hand mortars, and I'm not sure who's gonna win this. It's really close. Maybe we could see some Abus guns also from Kynesie. I think they would do pretty good in this situation.
Yeah.
But I guess Falconets are legit.
5 hand mortars in queue at the castle, and they very strong against boats and pretty good against artillery. Looks like they're the 5. Cav are going to take some damage, and a few reinforcing units get dunked on. Kynesie investing in the warship upgrade here. Improved warships coming in now. Very, very strong boats. And with the dock, it can repair that low HP frigate as well, which is probably also why he built it. Adds a bit of extra value. But a dock also coming in for Kynesie. 2 docks. And finally, fishing boats enter the game. Kynesie... even in an Otto FF, Kynesie somehow finds a way to get on the sea and start building fishing boats.
It makes a lot of sense. When you have to build mills, you might as well invest into fishing boats, actually. But I just wonder why he didn't ship schooners instead of improved warships. Maybe he doesn't have it in deck, because I think schooners, when you're gonna water boom, it's more valuable than upgrading like your 1 frigate in the pond, I think. But anyway, he's gonna get a huge eco. But then again, it also gives some time to Tabben to just stabilize and make some hand mortars. And Kynesie, the winning condition for Kynesie is really to keep the control of this pawn here. He just can't let Tabben get it back. So it's gonna be a really, really tense game.
Tabben is gonna have some trouble very soon. He needs to push now and really establish some. Do some damage, establish some control, because his hunts are very, very low. This is his final hunt at the back here. There is one over here as well, which he's moving into, but looks like Kynesie is coming in with the jams, but he is quite far away from the pond, which is very concerning. He cannot go too far away from that safety net, but he does want to kill some villagers, and it's working out for the time being, and it looks like Tabben isn't going to go that way. He's going to get away with that, actually. Kolb's trying to do damage to... takes down quite a lot of the flying crows, but there are now hand mortars picking them off. 34 range, which equals the culverin. Jan's coming in on the side here.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can still trade these Jans. They're probably dead, but if he just goes melee mode, he should get a decent trade out of them.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned about the hand mortars coming forward, and these expensive artillery pieces at the back there, and the boats as well. This could be... does take out a flying crow, very impressive explosion, but this could be Kynesie's moment, or pardon me, Tabben's moment to do some real damage and take control of the water. We've missed this fight, I do apologize. A lot of the cav gone down here, but the hand mortar's now getting involved on The Falconets.
There's also still covering up for Kynesie next to the pond, and the frigate. There's kind of too much stuff for Tabben to deal with at the pond with just a few hand mortars, and I think it's gonna be really, really good for Kynesie here. Might be just GG. Look at the eco. Look at the military. I mean, what does China have? He's gonna need one hour until his next shipment, and yeah, that's it. GG.
Yeah, and congratulations, Kynesie comes out ahead in this, I think, game-defining fight. Tabben here, as I said, running out of hunts and can't really then afford to be building rice paddies. He's got the one-up, but that transition's very expensive, as we know, so really needed to come out ahead in this fight to be able to afford doing that, slowing down to do that. But behind this, Kynesie's now got his 2 docks down, comes out ahead in this fight, and a really nice game, playing it a bit different, and it rewards Kynesie. He picks up another win, going up to 2. I think we expected him to win on New England, but not necessarily in this fashion. But he pulls ahead in the series. But that is the last water map now, unless we can get to that final game. So Tabben, I think, needs to win before we get there.
Yeah.
But that is the way of things. And Portugal, still a civ that Kynesie can play, since he has not won with it yet. What a game, Kaiser.
Yeah, one thing I just noticed as well, it's that Kynesie shipped the artillery attack card, which usually you ship for Apis guns, but it actually also affects falconets and culverins. So you see they have 115 attack now instead of 100. I just wanted to say that because it's kind of funny. You never really see that usually. And yeah, it was a really good game, a bit of an abrupt end maybe to this really close and long game, and suddenly Tabben just fell apart, lost all his wheels, main fight, Kynesie water booming behind, and it's just GG suddenly. But it was a really good game.
Look at that, Otto Eco keeping up. I guess that early TC was really nice. And of course, remember, the vills are free, so it's like he even has even more resources than this, because for every vill he trained, he saved 100 food. So this graph actually not representing really what his eco was at.
Although China also gets tons of free stuff, so
that is true.
But yeah, it was the TC was nice. I still believe that Falconets a little bit earlier could have done a lot of damage, but yeah, it's just that one fight at the end was
so
really
devastating for Tabben there. But yeah, let's head on out. The next map will be Thar Desert, and I think this is a map that Kynesie traditionally struggles on. I don't think he likes those sort of small, non-TP, hard-to-wall maps, and Thar Desert is for sure one of those. And he has to pick first, so not ideal for him. Let's get into the lobby and see what civilization he will go with. Kynesie going Aztecs. I think we expected this. We've seen quite a lot of Aztecs from Kynesie in previous tournaments on maps like this, where there is no water. And we've seen it indeed in this tournament as well. Kynesie playing the Aztecs. Tabben gets to pick afterwards. Let's see what he goes for.
No India for Tabben. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, what is he going to do against Aztecs? Is he going to Aztec mirror again like he did against Lucas? Because he could go Russia, but it's maybe not the greatest matchup. So, it's not easy to come to Aztec on this map. Maybe Dutch, but I don't think Dutch wins on Thar Desert just because the resources are so low, and Aztec has so much map control. So I think we might see Tabben taking a little bit of time to figure out what he's gonna pick here.
BRB.
Oh, Dutch. Oh, that could be a fun match.
Dutch versus Aztec, and Kynesie just gonna take a quick break. I don't know what he wants to do, perhaps bathroom. But he knows the matchup now. It will be Dutch versus Aztec. He can consider that, and perhaps he'll make some adjustments to his deck. There's always perhaps one card that you want in some sort of matchup. But yeah, no India for Tabben, as you were saying. Yeah, but still, perhaps not a great map for Kynesie. He is ahead in the series, though. This is going to be a very, I think, defining game. If Tabben can take the win here, it's going to be 2-2. And we're back to even. And Tabben, I think, has time to get all the wins in before Florida. But if Kynesie can pick up this game, I think there's a very good chance we could go all the way to the final match. And if we do that, I'm favoring Kynesie, honestly.
And even without that, just being down 3-1, Tabben could just lose. like even before Florida. So yeah, he kind of has to win this game. Obviously, it's also possible to come back and win 4-3, but it's really not as easy as being like, you know, going with an even match. Being 2-2 is much better for your mental health, I guess. But
Right.
I wonder how Tabben's gonna play it. I can see mostly two ways to play it on this map as Dutch. First way being just playing it low eco, like 2 or 3 banks max, staying colonial, trying to break the front base in H2, which is maybe possible. Second way could be to go for colonial militia or just some regular kind of FF, but maybe with colonial militia, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, but let's see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to game number 6. Pardon me, game number 5 in a best-of-7 series between Kynesie and Tabben. Baja California and Pampas Sierras have been taken out, so there are only 7 maps, as you can see. The score is 2-1 in favor of Kynesie. Doing well so far, given that it's a mostly land map series, or in fact land map tournament. Let's start with Kynesie in the top of the map, in the color red, playing as the Aztecs here. Nice. Gonna immediately pick up that Mongol Rider, and that's a pretty good Treasure Guardian. Also has 55 coin. The Warrior Priest getting right next to that fire pit, ready to start dancing for the XP the second it's dropped. I didn't check what the crate start was, but it looks like it will be 300 wood, enough for a market and a house as well, and we'll gather 50 wood. These two vills going to do that for the Hunting Dogs upgrade. But his opponent, Tabben, no India. He used it on Deccan. He won on Deccan with India, so has to play something else. And will be using the Dutch here. Not ideal. I think he'd really like to play India here. But never mind. Such is the way of things. He's going to leave that 100 wood on the floor. 60 wood, actually. Doesn't need that right now. But he's going to find himself picking up 85 wood. That's going to be really nice. But won't have a crack shot because I assume he would have used it on the 2 tigers. So he's going to be chased down by a Mongol Rider, which is pretty good. 8 range attack. And looks like his name's Buffalo Grill, is chasing down the Explorer here. Going to force Aztec, Aztec is going to force Dutch all the way home. But it is quite a nice start from Tabben. 20 coin and 85 wood.
Oh, that's too late. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but when the Mongol Rider was shooting, like the shadow of the arrow was doing some weird thing with the weird lightning. But anyway, it was pretty funny. Like it was looking like the arrow was going super high up and then down, you know. But anyway, that is nice for Tabben, but he's quite low HP. I don't know if he's gonna be able to pick any other treasure. But even getting only 85 wood in H1 is already quite an okay H1 because it's such a nice treasure. And he can maybe crack shot that 50 wood. Although, never mind, Aztec's going to get it, I guess. But what to think of the wood start in this matchup? I guess it doesn't matter too much. It makes it faster for Aztecs to build their war hut, or they can get a market, actually. I guess it's better for Aztecs just because they can get a market in H1.
40 food here is going to pick that up, but does allow Aztec to get into hand combat. So 40 food, is it worth it? And yeah, he's not got a crack shot, obviously. He can't be killing the lion.
He's going to try to pull with his envoy, but I think he's just dead. And that's going to be 90 XP with the lion. With the he didn't make the mistake to kill it with his explorer. So 90 XP is already... It's like a treasure, right?
Yeah.
A good treasure. And the envoy is going to die as well. So no scouting information for Tabben. I mean, he expects a rush anyway, but it's still nice to be able to confirm. Like, you don't know. Now, Kynesie could be going for some wire priest boom or something, and Tabben would not be able to scout it, for example.
Yeah, that's a really nice start from Kynesie, killing both the scouts, getting the extra resources in. I think he's going to be really, really pleased with that. And this could be interesting. I had Tabben pegged as the sort of favorite. I knew we'd see a good series, but this is looking very good for Kynesie in the start of Game 4 here. Pardon me. Yes, yeah, it is Game 4. Yeah. So let's see what Kynesie has in store for us. You're saying perhaps something aggressive, and it looks like that will be the case here. 2 forward villagers now coming out, and is going to be going up to the colonial age with the messenger politician. Going to be popping down that forward barracks or forward war huts, whilst Kynesie continues to gather exceptional treasures. 90 wood here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if there's one map which rewards aggressive play, it's Tardishead, or I guess also Cascade Range, but, you know, it's one of the most aggressive maps, so obviously Kynesie is just going to go front base, like, really, really close to Tabben's base. And it's going to be a quick rush as well, because he's going to, with his 90 wood, he can already build his war hut really early. And I don't know, we'll have to see. Tabben did a good job at herding his food. We have to see, the first thing to see, I think, is how many banks Tabben is going to go for. It looks like he's going to ship the bank wagon first, because he's starting with the barracks. And so he's going for market, house, barracks with 400 wood, bank wagon shipment, and just getting like the smallest kind of Dutch eco you can get.
3 warrior priests will be his first card. So not going to be a super aggressive rush, not going to be shipping 6 Puma or something like that. Is instead going to play it a bit slower. We'll still see units quickly from the war hut, coyote runners in queue to perhaps do some raiding. But
is he going to actually skip 700 wood? I mean, is he going to ship units next, or is he going to ship 700 wood next? Because usually the first card is 700 wood, but he's chopping lots of wood, so... Oh, now he stopped chopping, so I guess Kynesie is going to ship 700 wood now. So really not aggressive, not going for a rush, actually.
Yeah,
you know, that's just greedy.
Wood. Yeah, he's just playing, but Tabben's not going to know this.
Right,
he's not got a scout.
Lots of his scouts. He lost all his scouting potential in age 1, so Kynesie is just like, yeah, I'm going to boom, you don't know it. Too bad for you.
And
You're
at
go
home,
for 2
Tabben
banks.
just has to play as if he's expecting a rush, because, I mean, what else can you do? You lost your envoy, you lost your scout, and we can see some skirmishes at home here, which can be used to defend. They're not going to do so well against coyote runners, which looks like they're going to be more for raiding. Here they are out on the map.
But they don't do too poorly against coyotes.
No, especially with the TC. Not going to kill a villager there. But looks like the explorer is now back up. This skirmisher went out to collect him, and he's now revived. But yeah, 5 villagers going to follow it up. This is an Aztec boom.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a way to play it, right? You can just contain, because Dutch doesn't have lots of resources, and if Aztec starts, if Dutch starts so quickly, like Dutch not going boomy, they are gonna have a hard time aging up unless he goes for something like 700 coin. So he's just containing, waiting for Dutch to push out for resources.
And now coming in with 5 plus 3 coyote runners and his explorer there with nothing to defend the skirmishers. No pikemen or something like that. Is forced to call Minutemen, which will be enough to defend this, but not before he loses quite a lot of the skirmishers. And look at that. The explorer is going to get out of there as well, getting all that double XP. But
and the coyotes as well, escaping. So a pretty good trade here for Kynesie. Can we maybe check units last? I'm not sure how many skirms and coyotes died in there. So that's 3 skirms, 3 coyotes, but also a Minuteman pop, and a forcing idle time and all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty good trade for Kynesie here. And in terms of eco, Tabben is barely ahead in eco if you take into account the warrior priests. So that is just really good for Aztecs. I don't know how Tabben's how he's gonna do now. The question is really, does he age now or does he push out? And I can't answer that question myself. I don't know what I would do there. I don't know if I would age or push, but I guess he's gonna be pushing because he's shipping 700 food and got 2 military buildings on the field. So probably gonna go for some kind of timing with 8 pikes next, which kind of makes sense. Just adding like 5 or 10 hearths, shipping pikes and just pushing and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I suppose at this point he realizes it was not an Aztec aggressive play because he's just not seen the units for it. So probably expects that something like warrior priests and villagers has been sent just from what's happened in the game, but obviously can't confirm that. And 5 hussars in queue. So at least Tabben will sort of be ready to handle this. He's going to have, the units he needs popping out very soon, and the 700 food is basically all eaten up now. So he's got plenty of resources. And here we're going to
Tabben's
see...
got pikes on the way, I guess. He's got a shipment on the way, so if he can pop 8 pikes like now or really soon, he's going to be okay. But he really needs the pikes, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of coyotes and not
now
so
on
many
top of those hussars.
Here.
The hussars are very, very nearly gone, and there'll now be nothing left. Perhaps he can get the skirms into a really nice choke and build a wall or something, or a house just to stop the coyote runners getting in. Still no pikemen. He's going to need them, or this is really toast for the skirmishes.
Even if he can pop the pikes and Kynesie just runs away.
There they are.
Then
8 pikes do come out just in time, and that's going to be what he needs to save the skirmishes. So that's absolutely fine for him and should be okay here.
The coyote is getting stuck actually, so a really good trade here for Tabben. I think Kynesie should have expected the pikes to pop at some point. He could just contain, you know, he's just overcommitting here. And although, well, Kynesie is okay, to be fair. There's just too few units left, I think. And 6 Pumas coming in clutch just at the right time
just in time to force the both players getting a good pikes pop. The Puma's going to be pushed, going to be picked off, but they do force the coyotes, the hussars away. Lots of coyotes out still. All the pikes now down.
Yeah, and then what? Like, what do you do as Dutch now?
You're
nowhere near aging. You don't have any more your 8 pack shipment. You're running out of hunts. Aztecs got away with shipping 5 ills and 3 warrior priests. So what do you do now as Dutch? He's got 3 banks. It's not like insane, and he doesn't have hunts anymore. So I mean, not for long, I believe. That's I can't see everything so well. I apologize because of the.
No, you're right. There's no hunts. He's sent his 700 food and all those things, as you said. Let's take a look at his deck, and that's it. If he's to get up to Fortress, it'll be hard, and his opponent will have a nice timing as he runs out of food just as he hits up. This could be troublesome. Let's take a look at units lost though, and see how that looks. Aztecs lost a lot more, but that's fine. I don't think he minds.
And now that's the point where Dutch has to move out a little bit to try to get to his next hunt. But like fighting in base with skirms and fighting out of base with skirms is not the same. And he doesn't have 8 pikes anymore, so he's going to have to train pikes probably.
Coming in, look at this. Tabben wanting to put down an outpost. He knows he needs to defend this hunt location, but Kynesie knows he can just go over to the hunt and stop Aztec, stop the Dutch from having it. And that's what he's going to do. It looks like this outpost, it could be denied. It's not quite there yet.
I think Kynesie can just like kill the bills and like...
That's what he's doing,
although there's pikemen in as well, so Kynesie may be over-committing here. I can't see so much how many coyotes there are, but more coyotes coming in, it's kind of a close fight. I feel like Tabben might have the upper hand though. Maybe he's got 3 houses on the way as well. Could be a good time to ship that. And I think Tabben's cleaning up.
Yeah,
but
he's
again,
got it.
Not enough stuff maybe to really push out. It's a good trade for Tabben, but he's even behind in eco, you know. So what is the next move for Tabben here? Yeah, I guess he has to ship 3 houses and mixing some pikemen and just try to go. Like he has to do something at this point.
Yeah.
Because the late colonial is also much better for Aztecs, I think.
Coyote's coming in for a raid. Looks like Kynesie set up another war hut over here on this hunt and mine, which is going to give future villagers more safety and also denies Tabben that location there. Coyotes come in. I think they pick up a vill. It switched to units lost. 5 villagers have gone down, and Aztec ahead, especially ahead, because of the warrior priests, is starting to get more and more of them. And once he's fully danced to 10 warrior priests, then Aztec going to be very, very scary as he switches onto an actual useful dance that isn't getting more warrior priests. So that's something to consider.
And
but
also,
at least Tabben's still in this game. He managed to capture this food. He's gathering from it still, but he's not age 3, which is where Dutch wants to be. So it is a little bit awkward for him, but he is still in this.
It's a game. It's a game for sure. It just feels like it's like the Dutch situation is a little bit. It's not getting better over time at this point, and it's just looking a little bit concerning for Tabben. Like he needs to do something, either age or push, but he can't just grab the map so slowly like that and just wait, because eventually Kynesie gets 10 warrior priests. He's gonna get coyote combat, and then he can basically full coyote at some point, because pikes are not very good against coyotes. Has to fine, but they're not super strong hussars either. It's the Dutch hussars, so he can kind of go pure Coyote with Coyote combat, and it's gonna be hard for Dutch to deal with that. But Tabben's gonna try to age. He's going for it. So now it's gonna be a very tense situation for him, because as soon as he's up, Kynesie is just gonna right-click this hunt and this tower, and it's gonna be the end of the game probably in either way. But it's gonna be a very decisive fight.
Yeah. Going up with the Exiled Prince, the fast age up. And at least he's got some skirms on the board. They'll shadow tech for free. He'll still have to upgrade his hussars when he gets there. But
Yeah.
at least he has a standing skirmisher mass. Well, a few skirmishers already. That's something. But this is a good time for Kynesie. He's just got his warrior priest boom in, and now he can switch them to a useful dance. And here he comes. That's a lot of coyotes. And Tabben recovered, which reduces cavalry training time by 10%. Not overly relevant, but certainly a treasure. But here he comes. And coyote combat coming in, as you were saying. This is a big moment with a war dance already on. Tabben up to fortress.
Like the extra few seconds, like he pushed just slightly before Tabben aged it, and even that makes a difference, because now Tabben wants to get that huss and a shipment in, and then he's fine to fight. But if Kynesie can force a fight before that happens, it's gonna be really, really hard for him.
Ignoring the vills, and I agree with it.
He's gonna ignore the vills. To be honest, he should have ignored them since the start and just go for the army. Don't let veteran huss go in. Don't let 9 Ritters pop. Just
take
go,
the fight before
up.
all that stuff appears. And here, this is looking good. There's a lot of coyotes, and they've all found a target. A couple of Puma at the back struggling to get into the fight, and a few stray. But some Reuters have popped out from the stable here. These are going to be really helpful versus the coyotes. And 9 Reuters coming in as well. That's exactly what he needs to defend the skirms and handle these coyote runners. Doesn't look like Vet Huss ever did come in, though, so that's going for him. But still a lot of coyotes here. These two toast. Looks like they've found the 2 Reuters.
And 5 Maces coming up from the top as well. So I think we're going to see a GG here, because Tabben has nowhere to gather, and he has no shipment on the way. And then what? Like, it's just over. He's got no way to come back in the military count.
Yeah.
And it was a very good game, again. But it's going to go to Kynesie, I believe.
It's looking Kynesie favored right now in terms of both economy, 10 warrior priests, so an exceptional military here.
Map
and
control
he's
as
ahead.
well.
Yeah, and ahead on military. Map control, as you're saying. And look at this. These villagers are idle, but Coyote's coming out, so it's going to be even more Kynesie favored here. And he's going to call the GG. And it looks like Kynesie really does start to pull ahead. The score is now 3-1. He is on match point. And honestly, I pegged this going to Tabben this series, but it's now looking very Kynesie favored because he is guaranteed to get to Florida even if Tabben wins all of his next games. And that's the map where he can really, really perform, and he could even win it before that. But Kynesie's Civ pool, I think, starting to run out. He's used his Aztecs, he's used his Ottoman, both civs that he wants to be using on land, and I'm not convinced that Kynesie has all that many land civs, since he, most of the maps in Quick Search, you can play water.
I mean, at the same time, though, he needs to win only one more game, and he can play ports. Even on land, he can play ports.
That's true.
So what if he just picks ports every single game now until the end and just tries to win with them?
That's true, yeah. You're right. And he's very experienced with Portuguese and that defensive style, colonial militia, those extra town centers. You're absolutely right, and he could just play it every game and still be able to play it on Florida because you can play civs until you win with them. So that you're absolutely right. I think this is looking really good for Kynesie, and we may well see him at the LAN. Let's take a look at the post game here.
Yeah, it would be a really really impressive if Tabben could come back from that. He might, but
he might. Tabben is a strong player, and I think I would peg him as the stronger player on land. So this is not over. But as you can see, Florida is that final map, and we are guaranteed to get there now.
At the same time, Kynesie has won 2 out of 3 games on land so far, right? And I think Kynesie is just more experienced with tournaments, and Tabben's maybe... Yeah, he just doesn't perform as well in tournament as in casual games. So I'm personally not super surprised by this result. I kind of expected Kynesie to win this because myself, a couple years ago, I would have probably lost to Kynesie because of lack of experience. And I think it's what we see from Tabben as well. Just getting mind gamed in some games, and just not really beating the Kynesie side. Even the Aztec play was not super aggressive. Tabben not able to scout it, just overreacting early on, maybe not booming enough and not aging early enough either. Just fairly well played from Kynesie here, and Tabben not really able to fight Kynesie at this point. But High Plains, well, talking about ports, I mean, that is such a good Portuguese map, and Kynesie loves to go ATP, I believe. So it's gonna be tough for Tabben.
It's beautiful.
Really.
No.
But Tabben has a very strong Germany, and I do believe Germany doesn't really care if ports go ATP or not. They can just kind of either way ship units and push. And if Tabben just goes Germany against ports, it could be a game going for Tabben. And there comes the Portuguese. Really surprising.
Yeah, not surprising at all. Nice sarcasm. But Kynesie picks ports,
Right.
and still players adjusting to this format. This is the first time we've used this format in a tournament where the winner always picks first. Beforehand, it was alternating. But we like this format more. We think Civ balance is good enough now. It is the best it has ever been on the ESOC patch, which is the custom balance patch that we use since TAD AoE3 is a tad imbalanced. But Kynesie going to go with Portuguese here. Tabben, he now gets to pick afterwards. But I think you're right. We're just going to see Kynesie play Portuguese for the rest of the series. And he doesn't have to deal with Pampas Sierras. So Kynesie's
maybe
veto...
not on Pampas.
No, he's vetoed it. He's vetoed Pampas. It's not going to be in the map pool. So he doesn't even have to handle that, which is really nice for him. So Kynesie's veto coming in strong now. He actually gets to take advantage of it.
But Kynesie can still play Dutch and Brits to some extent. So he might just not go port on some maps, maybe deciding that another Civ is better. But obviously on High Plains, he's going to play ports. Then what is Tabben going to answer with? Like it can be Germany, it can be Sioux, it can be Spain as well. Could even be France. There's lots of options here for Tabben, and I am not sure which one he's gonna pick. He could even stay Dutch, although on a 5TP map it's probably not very smart. But I think Tabben might take a little bit of time here to decide what he's gonna go for. There's so many options, and he can't really fail at this point. He has to win this game.
Yeah, otherwise he is eliminated. Tabben gonna think long and hard. You know, I really like... I just want to draw a comparison, having seen a lot of competitive AoE2 now as well. Okay, China coming out. I was going to say that in Age 2 they do blind picks, and you don't know what Civ your opponent's going to pick. I think it matters a lot less than in AoE3. We couldn't just do blind picks. But they pick their Civs really fast, and here we take absolutely forever, it seems. But it will be China versus Portuguese. Just a thought that came to my mind. But China has been selected versus Portuguese. What do you think about that?
Well, it's definitely a good pick. Then again, on a 5TP map, it's maybe not the most expected pick. But it's overall very strong. It's one of these matchups where, again, China doesn't care too much what Portuguese is doing. Like, are you going for a normal FF? Are you going ATP? Are you going even water? Sometimes China doesn't really care and goes for the big push and right clicks, basically.
Yeah. I think China are a solid Civ on, just a normal LAN map. And this is a matchup we think that Tabben wanted to play earlier, albeit on New England against Kynesie's Water. But maybe it's something he's just been practicing anyway. And it will be China versus Portuguese on High Plains. This is game number 5. Spawning in the south of the map, in the color red. Playing as the Portuguese, we do have Kynesie. It is a 100 wood start. And Kynesie on match point here. This is not a water map. But he could still pick up the victory. He's won a couple of land maps now and clearly is ahead in the series. Kynesie doing very, very well. We expected, I think, Tabben to be leading the series by this point. But not the case. Tabben in the north of the map, in the color blue. Still a very strong player. And I think very formidable. Playing China on high plains here. And is going to send the monk out to construct a trading post. Portuguese, of course, cannot do that. Not with the crate start. So instead, on the bottom here, staying away from that monk. Going to scout the bottom side of the map, and he'll know that any treasures he finds down here will be absolutely safe to take, because he can expect his opponent to go for the top to get the first pass of XP. He's found himself a 50 wood treasure, so off to a nice start here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a food start, which is really important for Portuguese on this patch, because you get only 100 food when it's not a food start. So he's got the extra coin and the extra food, which is really nice against China. Along with the gold treasures in his base, he was able to go for a really quick market and hunting dogs. But yeah, then again, Tabben's getting 95 wood. That's just so good, right? You just see it. You go for your TP and then you don't chop and you just get your village, and it's just really nice. So both of these players getting a nice H1.
Yeah. So Tabben off to a good start here, and I think he's going to be thankful for that, given he has to win this game and indeed every other game to stay in the series and qualify for the LAN here. Picks up his 95 wood, and is now going to be able to build that village for free. He has popped, so a lot of villagers going on that just to make sure he can get his next villain queue or delay as much idle time as possible, but essentially not gathering any wood. It's a free village, which is going to be really, really nice, and Northern Refugees coming in just in time as well is going to get those 2 villages. Looks like Kynesie finds himself 60 food, another quite reasonable treasure, especially with just the 1 explorer. High Plains has a lot of those, which is pretty good. Kynesie, though, he scouts 70 coin, and that's where his explorer's going. No other interesting treasures on the map for him just yet, so he's going to go for that. ATP coming in. Portugal already going to be going for that trading post agenda that is so strong on this high TP map, High Plains.
Yeah, and Kynesie now has a perfect age up time. A perfect 13 age up time, despite getting a market, which is just really good. He can't even get Gangsa. I don't know. It looks like he doesn't get it, but you could even get that wood upgrade before chopping for all these trading posts. And but yeah, he's just gonna prioritize getting TPs, because China might be able to grab 1 TP himself, maybe. So Kynesie is sending out villagers, making sure China can't steal too many TPs. And
He's going to fight with the villager, and fair enough, right? The explorer has 7 with a negative multiplier. The explorer's doing it less damage to the villager than the villager is doing to the monk here. So just going to bash him with the 10 vills, and it is, you know, as long as the monk's here, he doesn't mind, because all the other units can just be building the trading posts.
300 wood, though.
300 wood coming out from... Look at, he's even scared that... Oh, he's going to place it down! With the 300 wood coming in clutch. Really, really nice. 300 wood allows him to build trading posts, which makes the ATP a bit worse.
The thing is that Kynesie decided to build a second TP with his explorer instead of building it with that 1 villager right here, which would have been better in my opinion, because if he could have done that, then he would have got the TP for himself. But still, you know, he's going to grab 3 TPs. Tabben did have to ship 300, which is nice because he gets more TPs, but it's also an H1 shipment, like a second H1 shipment. So all things considered, still looking pretty okay for Kynesie here, but it's definitely an interesting 300 wood.
Is he using the ATP to take the treasure? Are these Guardians...
No, I think he just crack shot, but
he was just crack shotting, but it was helping him fight just because they were aggressive. Okay, I thought for a moment he was doing something fancy there, but working on that 210 XP treasure. But Kynesie now up to the next stage, and is going to be placing a forward TC here near the trade route on top of a mine and a hunt, and indeed that treasure as well. It looks like Tabben's sort of looking for it. He wants to siege the foundation, doesn't find it here, so thinks, okay, the next logical position is this hunt and mine, so heads up there and does sort of scout it. Perhaps he'll do some siege damage, or maybe he was just looking to know where it was for later. 700 food coming in for Kynesie.
A forward barracks for Kynesie as well, and it's just like, I wonder why he didn't set his TC next to his barracks. Usually you would maybe drop your TC on the side of your opponent's TPs. Maybe he wants to defend his own TPs, but his TPs are already really strong since he's got ATP. So maybe having your TC next to your opponent's trading post just to defend your racks is maybe better.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what Tabben does.
We will.
He's gathering so much gold. It looks like he's going for the naked FF without 700 gold, but just shipping 700 wood instead.
I think I like the TC placement only because it's Kynesie, and I think he prefers that defensive style. That's just what he's good at and what he's played the most, so probably would just rather have it there, maybe something like that. But
6 masks, though.
6 masks coming out of Kynesie. Okay, and he's going to use those to start sieging here, but it's going to be met by 8 Chokanu from China, which will get there in time to defend this trading post. But looks like the musks have arrived now, in addition to the 3, but it will be fine. Chokanu, of course, very strong against that sort of heavy infantry. But a stagecoach now in, and this is only slightly better for Kynesie than it is for Tabben. Chokanus have arrived, 1 musk goes down, and now he's going to have to get out of there.
Yeah, and Tabben's aging meanwhile. I mean, almost. And he could even set... He didn't set his TPs to anything. Okay, now Tabben set his TPs to wood, so even if he loses his trading post, they already pay off a bit. It's just a good counter build, I think, from Tabben here, like going for these 8 crossbows to defend the trading post, because they do kind of molest musketeers, these Chinese Chokanus.
Right.
And meanwhile aging up, so...
Could you not think of a better adjective for sure? Sorry, you caught me off guard there.
Is that offensive also?
No, it was just funny. I would avoid that, yeah, but it just caught me off guard. Right, 700 coin coming in from Kynesie. So is he now looking to save up an age? No, I think just, it seems like... Well, he's not got a stable, so maybe it is to age with every villager on food here.
Well, they're both aging, so...
Oh, right. Okay, so it was to age. He already had the food.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I just was a bit late to the party. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize what the 700...
But I would have liked to see maybe a couple of hussars from Kynesie before aging, just to make sure he can clean up that trading post and maybe kill the crossbows. Like, imagine it's three hidden hussars or something like that, just baiting Tabben to come out and try to snipe your masks, and then you just catch them with your husk. But Kynesie is just aging, and that's also fair. I mean, he's up at 8 minutes with a musketeer semi and 3 TP stagecoach, so it's quite a good build here from Kynesie, I guess. Yep. Although shipping 6 masks didn't really achieve anything since Tabben had the 8 crossbows, but they both shipped units, so it's kind of okay.
Yeah. So it sort of neutralized each other. But he didn't get done what he wanted to, it's just destroy the TP. But I suppose never mind, it was a worthwhile try, and as you said, forces the Chokanu villager does go down, though, and there's a lot of... but there are a lot of... well, there's 3 Quang Pike, and they're going to be able to siege this. Thankfully, though, the musks that he shipped in Colonial are going to be here to help defend it. And 8 Cassadors not far behind either, so this will be absolutely fine. But I feel like Kynesie, you know, at this point in the game, there's not the time spent. Is that the villager going to get executed? Oh, 14 HP.
It's going to die, yeah.
It does die. But he's only got 3 TPs, right? And the time now, sieging these, time is very valuable once you're up to Fortress, and you don't really want to be sieging.
Yeah.
He is going to go over there and do it, though.
I think he can just send his musketeers to siege and just build a main army of like Skirmgoon and, you know, like typical Portuguese stuff, Skirmgoon Haas, and just send his musketeers to siege down the trading post. And but looks like he's gonna send all his army to siege that down, so China could counter push on the other side maybe.
That's right.
To that low HP TC. I mean, I don't know if it's really low HP. He got to siege it down a little bit, but
it's been repaired, I think, since. But this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
because he's got
the town center.
It doesn't matter where blue goes. If he does counter push on one side, Kynesie has Minutemen that he can call from either town center, possibly both, to defend them. And that means whilst he's up in the north cleaning up these TPs, these ones in the south are safe or safer. But it doesn't look like Tabben going to do either of those things. I think just waiting for those key Chinese shipments to come in, 5 Meteor Hammer followed by Intervention, and now we see the Redcoats and the China army looking pretty nice now. But Kynesie going to spend his early Fortress Age cleaning up these TPs. He obviously wants to build them himself. But
I
this
don't
is
know.
time spent sieging.
And I don't know why Kynesie is pushing out that far. I mean, it's kind of a corner of the map. It's really super risky. This feels, I mean, this smells bad for Kynesie, to be honest. I think he's going to get cleaned up if he keeps sieging here. Just because he doesn't have vet hussars, there's a bunch of units from China, and there's not too many guns for ports. And this could be another commitment here from Kynesie. We'll have to see, I guess. But
Yeah.
I didn't like that he went on top like that. All the bisons, though, just blocking the Chinese stuff.
It's almost like fighting in trees, but it's high
Yeah.
plains and there's bison everywhere. But yeah, reinforcing dragoons coming in now, and that's coming in at the right moment just to handle these remaining cav. Looks like all the China infantry trying to focus the goons down. You really don't want to have cav on top of your Cazador. They're just such an intense skirmisher style unit that they suck even more than regular skirms versus cav because of that lower HP and higher ranged resist, I suppose. But it looks like it's going to be a cleanup for China here. So a really nice start in the early fortress. Looks like, you know, Portuguese away from the safety of his 2 TCs where he'd be calling Minutemen and having reinforcing units and batches and things like that. But does take out the TPs, but I don't really think it was worth it. I see why he wanted to grab them, but going that far away from his trading post, pardon me, town centers, he ends up losing his army. Not ideal.
Yeah, it was. I directly felt like that was just a big mistake from Kynesie to go on top. I don't know if he expected Tabben to maybe go industrial, because we know Tabben likes to do that a lot as China. Maybe he just felt like, yeah, he's going industrial, I'm gonna siege down the last TP. Maybe he just felt overconfident, didn't really maybe underestimated the kind of mass of units China can get early on. But usually as Portuguese, you don't want to go out on the map against China until quite late. Sieging the first TP was okay because it was not too much in a corner, but the one on top was so exposed to send your units up there. It's just
and
kind
he
of
really,
suicide. But
really paid for it, right? Not ideal.
Yeah.
And now China's so far ahead, 60 military population to his opponent's 23. But Egyptian Mamelukes do come in. This explains the low population. 4 Mams. Hot damn. Okay, but I don't know if it's going to sway things too much. There's not that many arquebusiers. Yeah, there's a couple of, pardon me, Changdao to defend against them. There's some musketeers mixed in, and of course, China's cav, so probably fine. And it is only 4. It's not like it's 5 on RE patch here, but that is a strong shipment. And he is near his town centers again, so he does have, of course, Minutemen and things like that. Just going to use his Cazadors here to defend, but 2 stray Cazadors from the racks. Can he pull them away? It looks like they will be saved. That's really good. He cannot be losing them. And 2 organ guns following on
in
top.
a good spot.
And look at that wall.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting spot for sure, but I mean, he can't move them, right? They have to stay here. So he's going to be able to defend his TC. But meanwhile, Tabben can just clean up the racks. He can keep cleaning up the TPs. And I don't know. But he's pulling back for whatever reason. I think he's kind of missing his window here.
But these
he cleaned up,
Cazadors,
so he should
what are
feel
they doing?
confident push.
They're a bit far forward. They've realized that. They're going home now. But yeah, he's just playing really safe. And he's, well, and perhaps it's, you know, that's the trouble with tournament.
Sports, right?
That's the, well, yeah, I know what you mean. But like, it's always like, do I commit to a fight? And in a tournament game, you're always, I think, more reluctant to get stuck in than you are just on a random ladder game, even if it is the right thing to do. But he's now coming. The organ gun's nice and safe behind there, but the Cazadors, they are going to get attacked now by the China Cav. Coming forward, lots of Dragoons, though, to defend against this, and of course Mamelukes of his own, but Cazadors really suck, especially against these slightly ranged cavalry. One of the organ guns gets picked down. All of the arquebusiers focusing it. It's tanking a lot of damage with that resist, but does finally go down here. And this is still looking pretty good for China. Has his Minutemen available? The Mam's still alive here, remember, but they are in hand combat versus the Musks, which are doing a good job against them.
No Minutemen is kind of weird, but I think this is as good of a trade as Kynesie could expect. And every kind of decent trade is good for Kynesie because he's got more and more eco. And also, China is going to run out of unit shipments. But he needs to kite a bit maybe and not just stand there.
Just stand here,
Now he's getting wrecked. But not Yeah, this batch of Cav here might be just too much for Kynesie.
But it's
I don't
not
know.
coming in.
What's
It's-
going on?
From the back here, they're perhaps wanting to... God, that's the second time he's been very, very close to losing a few units. 5 Cass do get away safely. Dragoon combat coming in, but repelling volley coming in for Kynesie here. Going to give him an extra multiplier against heavy infantry. Pardon me. Yeah, well, yes, infantry, but also, I think more importantly, the Dragoons.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, getting set up now with these sort of late game upgrades as well as double-faced armor. But looks like Kynesie, he can now rebuild this trading post very soon, and he'll still have 3 to his opponent's 2. I think he was hoping for all 5, or at least 4 of them. We saw him trying to take them earlier, but now he's defended, start to wall up. He's got a stronger eco, he's got 3 TCs, and just the later the game goes, the better it is for Kynesie, and he knows that, so he's just going to try and drag this game out. He's building walls and all these good things.
And yeah, so Tabben has to be careful to not give too much time to Kynesie. He's ahead, but not for long if he keeps waiting. And as much as Repelling Volley is a really strong card, like one of the best upgrades in the game for sure, I feel like he should have gone for the Chengdaos, just because I think Tabben went back because he didn't have anti-cav, and he was maybe afraid of like 5 or 10 Vet Hussars just popping and cleaning up his army. So I think that's why he went back. If he got the Chengdaos, he could have kept pushing, and I think that TC would be toast. The one where they were fighting from Kynesie, it would be toast by now if he just went for the Chengdaos, but I guess now he has really strong skirmishers, and now territorial army combat coming in as well. So these skirms are insane. Much better than Castadors for sure.
Yeah.
But with that wall, I would not be surprised to see Kynesie with a 1k gold as well, just training organ guns, and that could be a pain for China to deal with without hand mortars.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's take a look at these Castadors. 20. Pardon me, the Disciplined Arquebusier. 20 ranged attack, 140 hit points, and 30 ranged resist. The Castador, considerably fewer hit points, less ranged attack as well, although the resist is higher, but such is the way of things on a Castador here. This is nice. Behind the wall is able to fire on this and get some sort of free damage in this Kynesie wall style, and there is more walls behind this, but I don't think he can get another one up in time.
No organ guns, though. I'm really surprised, because we all know
guns.
Kynesie likes to make walls in artillery, and I don't know why. He's got 3 Raxes, and he's making so many Castadors, but they're just bad. I mean, especially against China, you don't mass skirmishers. It's just bad to go skirm against China, usually, because they got so many melee units, and especially Castadors are really weak to melee units.
And there's no, like, Fortress Age upgrades for Castadors. Portugal just have to, like, sheer mass. That's all they can do. There's no skirmisher combat or anything like that until you get to the Industrial Age, which is a long way off. And now China through the walls and the Cav roaming across the map. Where did the Castador go? Oh, they know they're in danger. They've gotten out of there. Yeah, and look, more walls going up to defend them. Yeah. But he's running out of space. He can't wall forever. And I'm not convinced these walls will go up if the Cav... Yeah, it looks like he's got 2 vills on the job, though, on the double. In fact, 3, the CDB on the top. The wall will go up.
Oh, wow.
But he's going to lose some vills for it.
It's gonna go down quickly, but it's buying time, and meanwhile the Dragoons can pick off some units, and I think it's exactly what Kynesie needs at this point. It's just time. Although I believe that I think Kynesie lost just because he's got way too many Castadors.
And the Dragoons being attacked. Yeah, and then there's nothing. The Castadors so terrible against melee damage. They're gonna get absolutely ravaged, and that is what is happening. It looks like Tabben, is going to pick up the game. Kynesie calls GG, and Tabben, taking a victory, puts himself up to 3-2. It is still match point to Kynesie, though. He can throw a couple of games. Not that this was a throw. It was just, Tabben did very well here and picked up the W. But he is still in this series, and we could see a few very, very tense games. But Tabben still here, still in this, still putting up a fight. And I think Tabben still has a shot at this. But as I said earlier, this is going to Florida regardless. And that is what I think Tabben needed to avoid. But it's nice to see Tabben still here. The score is 3-2. Let's go take a look at the post-game, I suppose. That fight was just, oh, God, at the end. Castadors, oh, God, Kaiser.
Not good. Not a very good unit. And I mean... especially against China. I don't understand why he made so many of them. If there's one civ against which you can be kind of a Portuguese bot and just like go for goons and Huss, and like just go heavy on this cav stuff and maybe train organ guns. Well, it's against China. Like organ guns are not very good against China, but behind a wall, obviously they are. And I'm kind of confused about why Kynesie did that. But anyway, we can see in the military graph that you're showing right now that Kynesie kind of lost the game on that first fight, right? He was never coming close again in military just because of that first fight. And even if he got a really good trade at his town center in the second fight, it was still not enough.
Yeah.
So really overcommitting to go on that top TP there. Just for what? Like for one TP, losing your entire arm was a risky move from Kynesie, and it just gave Tabben the win.
The score is 3-2. Things are heating up. The next map, as you can see, is Fertile Crescent. And Kynesie, if he loses this, he doesn't have to deal with Pampas Sierras, which he vetoed. And that map, I think, not something he really wants to go on. Can be quite an aggressive map. And then we'll go straight to Florida. But it is match point. If Kynesie wins here, he goes to the LAN. Tabben has to pick first, bringing out the big guns, Germany. It's not a series of Age of Empires 3 without some semi-FF Germany. And that is what Tabben, I think, is going to do here. Pulling out Germans. Let's see what Kynesie has in response. Will he just stay ports, as we've been saying? Or will he play another civ? I think, though, the matchup probably will be Germans versus ports.
I wonder. Yeah, ports. Yeah, right. Never mind, I didn't see that. But, okay, yeah, that's rather tough for Portuguese, I think, on this map. There's not much food. There's potential for ATP, but it's not the greatest ATP map for sure. I don't know if he's gonna be able to beat this Germany here. So it could be going to Florida for sure, because well, we have to see what Kynesie can do. Maybe he can go for this kind of colonial militia, bastion walls playstyle, stretch it to super late game and win as ports with better units and better eco. But it's not easy against Germany because they have some really strong timings to break this greedy turtle playstyle.
Yeah. Oh dear. Hot damn. We are ready. Yeah. Germany versus Portuguese. But this map, it's not low on hunt, but it does seem to be out all on the map, and that you can't get too much under your TC in that early game. And that, ports need that lots of hunt. It is less important than on RE patch, given that the Vils cost 85 food here and not 100. But let's click into this and see what Kynesie has in store for us here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 6 in a best of 7 series between Kynesie and Tabben. Kynesie is ahead on 3-2. It was formerly 3-1, but it looks like Tabben is still in this and is picking wins up. But regardless, match point, Kynesie only needs one more victory. And even if he loses here, Florida, another water map. Bear that in mind, everyone. The winner of this series will come to the LAN. The loser is eliminated. Let's start with Tabben. Can he continue his tournament life? Here he is in the bottom of the map, in the color blue, playing as the Germans. 100 wood, coin, and 3 food crates there to start with. Will not be a TP start. And I think Portuguese will be pleased about that. It is not a 200 wood start, because Germany can be very, very scary with a trading post. Equally, though, we're not going to be seeing such from Portugal either. Market now coming down immediately. Wants to get hunting dogs and both explorers straight into the middle of the map looking for treasures. Looks like 100 food will be scouted by Kynesie. And it looks like Tabben, his route, does not find that. He goes sort of straight towards his opponent, so not going to be able to contest this. And Kynesie just going to face tank the lion and pick up 100 food. That's a really, really aggressive treasure pickup, given that his opponent's explorer could well be there.
Yeah, that is really risky. I personally don't think I would go for that treasure in the middle of the map. 100 food, 2 lions. It's really long and painful to pick. Like, he's down to half HP. But it's going to pay off. It's a very nice treasure. And is Kynesie going to go for a 10-10? No, he's spending his resources now. So I guess he's gonna build a house.
Yeah, and Hunting Dog's coming in for Kynesie and Tabben
For Tabben, yeah.
for Tabben, but also for
Oh, for
Kynesie.
boss? No, never mind. Yeah, yeah, boss players. Okay, so he went for a market again, and with that 100 foot, he's probably not gonna age a plate. So it's quite a good start for Kynesie. I don't know. The big question is, in a few seconds, we're gonna see if Kynesie spends his first shipment or not. Is he gonna go ATP or not? That is gonna be the big question, I think, for now.
Yeah.
And
Just
he's
over the
spending it,
shipment sent.
so
Okay, so looks like ATP on the way. Take a look at Kynesie's deck. Unlikely to be Eco Theory or certainly Colonial Militia. But
compare
looks
this
like
deck though. Compare this
Kynesie
deck to the
just
previous
chasing
game.
this Explorer around. Yeah,
Oh,
this is...
I mean, this is much more late game deck. He doesn't have MAMs, for example. So he will 100%. Kynesie is going to make walls and get Bastion and go super late game. There is no way he's playing it like standard ports. No MAMs against Germany, like Germany being kind of weak to hand cap usually. Like, why would you play against Germany without MAMs if you're not going to make like 3 layers of walls and get Bastion? And Tabben might go fast industrial seeing this deck, or at least he's ready for the late game.
Yeah, 6 settler wagons and a whole array of military shipments there, as well as factories and the Ulan upgrade as well. But it looks like Tabben just going to spend his early game chasing that Explorer around, keeping an eye on it, not going to be treasuring himself, and instead just sort of keeping tabs and keeping that Explorer low HP. It does sort of escape by going home underneath the TP, but Tabben is full aware that ATP will be in Kaiser's deck there, and will want to keep that Explorer low. I think he lost him and is taking a chance here, hoping to find him at this TP and go into hand combat, but he's not going to find him there. Regardless, it looks like Germany will want to build a trading post anyway, so he's still going to be able to do that in this socket. Going to pick up 50 coin whilst the villagers are gathering wood for that, since he's now just clicked the age up button. But looks like Kynesie in the bottom now and is adding in the ATPs.
Yeah, the thing is that Kynesie will not be able to send a villager like all the way down to this opposite trading post, right? Like the two other trading posts. He's not gonna send a vill down there. It's too far. So is Tabben gonna be able to take 2 TPs, which would be really good, both for himself, just because taking 2 TPs against ports is totally okay, and also to deny Kynesie having using that ATP. He's even sending maybe a vill to do that, or
I
is
think
he
so.
just hurting? I think he's gonna come and he's gonna get it. That's so sad for Kynesie. Is Tabben gonna get 3 TPs actually?
Yeah, he's going back. He's still on wood? Kaiser is still on wood.
Kynesie, what is he doing? Why? I mean, he should have maybe sent a vill to the closed trading post next to his base and then send his explorer a little bit further away. Because now he shipped ATP and he's going to get 1 TP out of it.
Yeah, it's really not good. ATP is only worthwhile if you can get, at least 3 trading posts. And that's like the most you can get on this map, because there's 4 of them and your opponent as Germany will almost always go for 1. He's not placed it down just yet. Kynesie is intending to come here, but he's busy going for this Rhino treasure. I think actually he'll be able to get there in time. The Rhino's going to take a long time to build, unless he's going to let it reset, which is the case. He can still place the foundation, but he's not gathering any wood. I think he's... Yeah, the villagers...
why is he not building a TP?
He's not going to have the wood. And it looks like Kynesie will get
he's
there.
spending it on houses. That's unfortunate. I feel like he should have just taken TPs, because you don't need units early on against ports anyway. And because denying that stagecoach would be nice. But anyway,
yeah, and
this
is the very best one for him to have, because it's the one that if stagecoach does come in, he's got them both on the same route. You're absolutely right there. But he is playing it safe by building houses. He could be his opponent could be dropping something forward, being aggressive if he hadn't scouted it, and just wants to make sure he can have Ulans in queue to handle something silly like that. I suppose maybe that's what was going through his mind. And let's take a look at in units in queue. Ulans are being trained here, and nothing yet from Kynesie. But Tabben does pick up the Explorer, does kill it, but not before the ATP goes down.
And Kynesie is aging up already, which is quite fast. So I wonder if he aged up with Philosopher Prince, maybe. TC. Yeah.
You went
No.
up with the...
No, I mean for the H2 with text completed.
it was
Yeah.
Philosopher Prince, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a fast FF. That's why. So he's already aging. And he can still ship units, right? Like, he can still try to do some damage against Germany before going for that super greedy playstyle. He is walling up, maybe for the raids, but what if he can just ship 5 goons first? He could be quite annoying. It could be annoying for Tabben to deal with.
And look at
But
this. Tabben is tanking with his Explorer there, whilst all the lower HP Ulans are doing just fine. That's really nice. Oh, but it has now gone on to an Ulan, I suppose. But gets a Tiger, which is quite nice. But he is going to use his first 5 Ulans and the 2 that he got for free to kill this trading post here and make a stagecoach less worthwhile. But 2 Ulans from the 700 wood have now made it towards his base. They're looking for Vils to kill, but Kynesie on top of this immediately puts 8 Vils in the TC and is going to try and pick them off.
yeah. I guess that ADP is paying off a little bit. It's killing 1 Ulan already.
And probably 2.
I don't know what to think of this game so far. I wonder why Tabben is going for the standard build against Kynesie. I mean, oh well, he's gonna skip 700 gold, I guess, and just age. So he's going a little bit more greedy. And he does kill a trading post, but meanwhile, Kynesie is able to go slow age. And now he's gonna age up with 6 Cazadors in the TC wagon, and there's no cav in his base to try to catch it. So that's really nice for Kynesie. So it's just a Tiger, which is not too
Not
scary.
overly threatening, no. Although it's doing, it is doing damage, but the Cazadors will be able to take it out. Looks like he just wanted it in base TC anyway, just to fortify this location with all of the extra Minutemens.
Look at the animals, though.
Yeah, they're running
They're
a long
running
way.
around the wall.
Yeah,
Like,
they will stay
oh,
in base.
no.
They're just going to have to go around the... Oh, no, they're going to stay there. Okay,
No.
and look, here
Get
comes
back
the
early.
Ulans. They're coming in, but
Yeah.
Minutemen have been called, so that will be enough to protect the Cazadors here. But he sent ATP, and somehow Tabben has, despite his opponent sending ATP, 3 trading posts, which is really impressive, actually. But he paid through the nose for it. He's lost 5 Ulan in total, and Kynesie's not trained a single military unit.
Yeah, and he could have got 3 TPs way more easily if he just took it earlier. Like,
He's going for the
going
4th.
ATP. Yeah, I don't think he should siege that with like 4 Ulans. They will literally die before the TP is down. So he should just stop that.
Yeah,
But
and with
he's
fewer
probably gonna send more
Ulans,
of them,
Vet Ulan will be
guess.
less powerful, and Kynesie will be more likely to get to the late game. But I guess he's not got all the TPs, which is something he really, really wanted. Going for this treasure.
With the ATP shooting as well. So, oh no, and the idol. So he's gonna lose like 2 Ulans to that treasure and the TP.
Yeah.
Oh no, that is kind of awkward. Like, it's not even worth getting 80 coin if you're losing basically 2 Ulans for it. But okay. Anyway, we have to see what Tabben does now, because Kynesie shipped 1k gold for an age up and 1k wood just because why not? He can spend a shipment before his age 4 and get some infrastructures up. So
forward artillery foundry.
So he does have a plan here. He's got 1k wood, kind of slow, but if you're gonna go falconets, it does make sense. And his plan is to just go artillery with war wagons, apparently, and just try to pressure Kynesie. But I'm afraid it might be a little bit too slow, maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder if just not training Ulans in H2 would have been maybe better for that strategy, to just be faster pushing in H3, because it's 10 minutes. And realistically, Tabben has like no units at 10 minutes with Germany.
Yeah, he spent them all killing off these trading posts. But I guess the upside of this is, well, his opponent's not going to have quite so many industrial age shipments or just as many resources in general. But I feel like ATP's done what it needed to do. It's killed so many Ulans, which is sort of really, really nice for him. Minutemen being called, but it's not going to save this TP with the war wagons nearby. But yeah, Falconet's now in queue, and it looks like Tabben is setting up for a powerful artillery timing. 1,000 gold on the floor to help him train more Falconets, and he's got all of the trading posts behind this. So, and the economies are very, very similar in terms of villages, and he's going to have all 4 trading posts and the potential for double stagecoach, or no, none of them upgraded just yet. But
Yeah, of course.
his
but
timing's not going to be
Portuguese
is not going to be super strong, having bled out so many Ulans, I suppose. But maybe
Yeah.
he's going for some sort of a slower push, I suppose, with falconets and behind it a big eco.
I mean, like, doesn't Portuguese just really like to go for pure dragoon, right? I mean, I don't know if Warwagon Falconet is the best composition against 18 range goons.
Look at that as
So I
well.
wonder if he shouldn't make skirmishers as well. Maybe he could have at least got Jaegers instead of 3 Warwagon shipment or something like that. Because
Okay.
I feel like if Kynesie can just get a bunch of goons and maybe 2 heavy cannons, he's gonna be defending that very
Yeah.
easily.
And he's got his stable down, and a church in the back as well. But he's not got advanced church. I'm not sure what that's actually for. Anyway, dragoons in queue, like you're saying. But let's focus on this first push actually. Tabben,
Yeah.
okay, regardless of what units he's deciding to do and how that might shape up against ports, he is here with 4 falconets, a ton of war wagons, and is just dumping damage down. And Kynesie's just hit up to the industrial age. He's not going to have access to guard upgrades. They're really expensive. And this is a big push. Kynesie's definitely going to lose a couple of buildings.
Yeah, he does have a strong power spike. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
don't
2
just
heavy
go
cannons are
industrial.
called.
Oh, one of them popping on the wrong side though.
Yeah.
Gonna trade it for.
He's going to go down there. First
Half
Falcon,
Falconet.
first heavy cannon dealt with. Second one alive. Looks like he's sending all his war wagons in to try and deal with it. Kynesie trying to pull away to get as much range as he can. But all he's got here to defend are a few goons, the TC Fire, and some Minutemen. TC1 goes down, and both the heavy cannons are handled, and Germany is standing on top of him with still 3 falconets and quite a reasonable mass of war wagons and that 9 Ulan shipment coming in. This is looking good for Tabben.
Why did he try to fight with 2 heavies just yet? I mean, why didn't just not wait for more dragoons and it's probably over? I mean,
Yeah, maybe
he's
like
just got no units.
maybe let his
Well, what
opponent
do you do
kill
here?
a couple more town centers. I mean, you don't need all of them. They're there just to buy time, it feels
Yeah.
like a lot of the time, and train dragoons in the back and then pop the heavy cannons or something. It felt like they
And
were
now
on
he's
the
gonna-
but Colonial
Colonial
Militia coming
Militia.
in. But he's already lost
I
2
was wondering,
TCs.
yeah.
But
I was wondering if he would just call CM now, but imagine if instead of wasting his heavies, he would have popped them in a TC in the back.
dragoons coming forwards though, and they are going to pick up one of the
Oh.
Falks. But the other one gets away, and if he can use the war wagons to pull the cannon, which is what he's going to do. But the dragoons are still quite fast. Come on, pull, pull, pull. But there are now
he can
skirmishers
just
and
kill
war
the
wagons
Ulans
nearby.
and go away.
They will be able to take on the dragoons here. Does kill off the Falk, but he's trading all his goons away for it.
Yeah, he should have just killed the Ulans and run away. But I don't know. This is a weird game. A really weird game. Does Kynesie actually have industrial unit shipments in deck?
Yeah, he's no,
Nothing.
no, but he does have
Except
heavy
the heavies and they
fortifications,
died, but he can go for that, yeah.
which is going to give him Bastion for free, and his outposts will go straight from. They'll be upgraded to Frontier Outpost, and then again to Bombard Outposts. But he's not got any outposts, so that's not going to be super strong. But factories now coming in. Perhaps they can be toggled to wood and maybe can build outposts or something like that. I don't really think it's worth sending just for Bastion upgrade, although Bastion does take a while to research, I suppose. But I think Tabben, he did what he needed to do. He punished Portuguese for going industrial and handled those heavy cannons really, really nicely. Colonial Militia came in, but with 2 TCs down, it is just sort of less effective. But I suppose most civs could send that and would only have 1 TC, and it would be just fine.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's still okay. These berries are very saturated right now. A couple of Idlevilles, and he's not got a
wonder
lot
if
of
he could
food
have
in,
just-
at home.
I wonder if he could have just made towers and shipped that card first, like towers with the 1k wood in transition. Like that would have been high IQ play, I think.
What you mean, like ship the Fortress Age 4 outposts?
No. I mean, he's shipped 1k wood anyway, right?
Ah,
so he
right,
could have made towers with it, and then first card ship the fortification stuff,
Yeah,
and it could have been interesting.
yeah, a lot of
but-
synergy there.
Yeah, but now he's going for factories, so like Kynesie putting all his eggs in the same basket, just like I'm gonna just keep booming now and hope, like, cross my fingers that Tabben is gonna be really passive. But if you look at the military,
It's
really
frightening.
scary for Kynesie, and I wonder why he's walling up so poorly, honestly, like with holes in the walls.
Yeah.
And usually he would wall up like crazy in this situation, and now he's just barely, like, basically not walling up, and I don't understand.
It's looking very tough. There's a lot of stuff here. Germany's found his way into the base. Kynasie's not built quite as many walls as usual. And there's no military unit shipments here. But he does have Colonial Militia available at the second TC here to call. But those factories, they're toggled to coin. He does have steam power, so they are generating very quick. But he knows it's GG and not able to handle it. And Tabben evening out the series to 3-3. This will be going to the final game. And it looks like Tabben's back in it. He's caught up. 2 victories in a row, evening it up. But the final map, Kaiser, as we've been saying this whole series, will be Florida. And that is quite a big water map. I think Kynesie gets to that map. I think he'll be very happy. All he had to do was sort of... I think he did what he needed to do. He won some early games. He secured Florida. And that's where he can pick up his final victory. And
we'll have to see, though.
We'll have to see.
It's still possible that Tabben wins it. So
yeah, but I think Kynesie's going to feel a lot more at home. So
yeah,
it's definitely very interesting. Don't count Tabben out yet, but Kynesie, I think he's got that going for him, and he gets to pick second, right? He just lost this game. He gets the counter pick. So all of these things to consider. But let's take a look at that military population graph, or indeed the post game more generally. If those heavy cannons, they just didn't stand up too well. You can see this was his big attempt. Minutemen and heavy cannons. The fight did not work out too well. And Germany with that scary push. The Falconets just offered the siege he needed. It was really, really good. Thank you very much for subscribing, Robissi. Robissi? We'll go with that. And indeed, that was from I Will Spank You, gifting it to Robissi. Thank you very much. You also gave one to Oatsboats13. Spanky, thank you very much. But let's head on into the next map, which will be Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited for this. And if you are too, the best way to support us at the moment is to subscribe, or perhaps continue your subscription if you were gifted one at a point previously in the past. And indeed, that Twitch Prime, we really appreciate that. But yes, this will be all 7 games and a really brilliant qualification series.
Yeah, I didn't expect Tabben to come back in that series, to be honest, because he was so far behind, and I know it can be really tilting to be down 3-1 in a best of 7. So I'm really surprised that he came back, and it's really nice because now we get a really close series.
Yeah, I think Tabben, I've been saying it though, Tabben needed to win before this map. He could still win, but I think he needed to win, 4-2, so that we avoid Florida altogether. But the score being 3-3, he's going to have to play it here. This is a good map. Let's see what he picks. Tabben currently on Germany. He can no longer play Germany, and indeed a couple of other civs, those being India and the very first civ he played as well. No, the second civ. I've forgotten what it was. But that's why we have these overlays to remind us. It was India, China, and Germany that he cannot play. Kynesie can play anything except Ottoman and Aztec, but I think we can safely say that I don't think he cares about those civs on this map.
Yeah, it's like Kynesie has to... I mean, he can counterpick now, but I think we know it's going to be Portuguese anyway. So I guess Tabben has to pick first, as if he was counterpicking ports at this point. Because I don't think it's going to be anything else. So if you can just pick like Brits first or something like that, it would be pretty solid.
I think I'm going to go to the loo. Do you mind?
Right.
Can I leave you in charge of entertaining the stream?
yeah, of course, no problem. So yeah, well, that's the best, the match point in this best of 7, and so it's gonna be very tense here. Tabben has to really think twice about which civ he's gonna be picking. Again, Kynesie, I don't think we're gonna see anything else on ports from him. He could, of course, he can play something else, but since ports are his main water boom sieve, and this is a water boom map, I don't see why he would pick anything else on that. So I think Tabben could go for Brits. He can't play China anymore, which is quite good against ports. He can't play Germany anymore, which is also maybe not as good on water against ports, but still a good pick. So I really think Brits would be a smart sieve to pick at this point, because they do have the potential to fight what port spot on water and on land, while still having a very scary economy and just being able to like outboom Portuguese early on and have better warships and that kind of stuff. But Japan is also definitely, I didn't think about Japan actually, but it's definitely an interesting pick here. Just being really good against Portuguese overall as well.
All right. What have I missed? Oh, thank you very much, 1fix1, coming with the Prime subscription. We do appreciate it. But Japan coming out?
Yeah. So Japan also being really scary for Portuguese, and they do have a decent water potential, I think. So this is going to be a good game for sure, and it's going to be a long game, I believe.
Well, don't count Kynesie as playing Portuguese just yet. He could still change, although I think it's unlikely that he will.
Yeah.
This is his sort of comfort sieve.
Yeah, and he can't even like pick Aztecs, because you could say, yeah, Aztecs just really hard counter Japan, and even if it's not the good playstyle for Kynesie being super aggressive, like he could still be Aztecs, but no, he already used them on Thar Desert. So what else in Portuguese is he gonna play now? I'm not sure. Maybe he could Brits actually. He did lose on Deccan with Brits, so he could pick Brits here, I guess. We'll wait and see.
We will. Kynesie not greening in just yet. Let's see what he considers.
So he's maybe not so sure about ports, in fact. You're right. But he's staying with ports. So here we go.
Okay, we're greened in. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 7 in a best of 7. The winner of this series qualifies for the LAN and will come to the studio in Manchester to play in July on the stage. The matchup will be Portuguese versus Japan. We've been saying this whole series, or at least I have, that Tabben really needed to win before we get to this map. But we have now arrived at this map. Kynesie, one of the strongest water players currently, and I think he'll feel very at home on a water map. Kynesie spawning in the north of the map, in the color red, 200 wood start, playing as the Portuguese. One of his secret weapons, so to speak. I've likened this guy to a samurai, as depicted by his AoE3 avatar, but wields boats and docks instead of a samurai sword. This man, a force to be reckoned with when it comes to fish and H2O and etc. But don't count Tabben out just yet. I think he would have preferred not to have played this map. But Japan, a very good civ against the Portuguese here. Thank you, Fighting Frenchman, for the resubscription with Prime. This is going to be a very interesting series indeed. But we're now playing on Kynesie's terms. But this is an awkward treasure contention because that treasure guardian is not going to move. But he is going to pick up the 100 food there. So a good start for Kynesie.
The wood start, though, is kind of awkward for Kynesie here, because it's just really good for Japan. And Tabben, yeah, he's going for the typical consulate stuff and the wood start. Kynesie, did he get hunting dog? I don't think so.
No hunting dogs. Of course, you start with a market.
Yeah, he's just going for the quick age up. Like, he's got 100 food. He can maybe eat 1 sheep or 2. And I believe he might be able to just go for 12 villager age up, maybe.
Yeah.
Which would be really good, because you just start booming faster.
Yeah, you get up quickly and you get your second TC of quickly and all of these things, right? And that's
dock.
exactly what he's going to do. With that extra food, he's going to eat these goats and combine it, and we'll have a very fast age up. You can see very far ahead in terms of food, 500, and he's going to pick up 35 more food by killing this alligator treasure.
11? He's going for an 11 age up, or is that 12? No,
It
it's
is
12.
12.
Okay,
It's
it was
12.
a bit blurry. Okay. I thought we would see an Azank style 11-10 age up, but it's a 12-10, 12-20. Yeah, just a 12 age up.
It's not. I don't think you call it a 12-20 at that point. It's just
Yeah,
a
it's
12
just a
military
12 age up,
up.
right?
But yes, go on. Oh wow, the betting has just appeared on my screen, and it looks like people are favoring Kynesie 80% to 20 here. So I think the chat, their faith is with our fish now safely back in the water by the sounds of it. But now also going for a native scout treasure, very low HP explorer, but will be fine. His opponent is on the other side of the map. But Tabben going to be playing the Japanese with that greedy Portuguese consulate heavenly kami style. Will be going for the Toshogu Shrine. Not going to be going for the fishing boats that we often see Japan go for on water maps, and maybe that's because he knows, yes, his opponent sending schooners, and will be having a very heavy water presence, and Japan without a dock cannot be defending his fishing boat shipments. So gonna stick with that traditional kami style by the looks of it.
Yeah, which does pretty well against Portuguese overall. Although obviously on water, Portuguese is going to be booming much faster, and people are betting on Kynesie apparently to win that game.
It's
and
changed a
obviously,
bit
yeah,
now. It's 64% to Kynesie and 36 to Tabben. So it has improved, but still Kynesie favored. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, it's a water map and it's Kynesie playing water, but we have to keep in mind that Japan is just so strong in late game and overall, especially against Portuguese. So even if Tabben ignores the water completely and just goes like fast industrial and spam ashes and flaming arrows, there's a good chance that Kynesie can't hold it. I don't know, we'll have to see, but it's like it's scary. Japan on land with full shrine boom and stuff is really scary still. So we have to see how this game goes. But anyway, Kynesie dropping docks directly in the middle because he wants to have less walking time on his fishing boats.
Sailing time.
Yeah,
yeah.
right. I guess so, and he wants to get line of sight already. Just make sure he can see any kind of water play from Tabben coming in a bit faster. And he's just gonna boom, right? I mean, what should we say about it? Kynesie is just gonna water boom. He's just macroing pretty well, keeping his food and wood count low, just training builds, training boats, and building a TP.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Take a
And
look
he's gonna
at
ship 700 wood first for sure, and he's gonna do his typical Kynesie water build. 700 wood, rendering plants, and then maybe on the second fishing upgrade and just FF like that.
Yeah, and look at this deck. Classic Kynesie deck. Just full of upgrades and boats and all sorts of nonsense.
Right.
But you are right. Second TC, obviously, that you get for free. 2 villages in queue. 2 docks and 2 fishing boats in queue. And indeed a dock in queue as well. So going to be going for a third dock. And here's some walls to start defending things. I can only reiterate what you said. This is just an all-in water boom. But that's fine. Or up against Japan, that's kind of what you do, I suppose. And if there was anything aggressive, well, you've got 2 TCs and can adapt pretty quick, I suppose. But in response, Tabben can only do the same. Just boom. With the Japan style, the Japan way of booming. Heavenly Kami, followed up by 600 wood, which will net you a shit ton of shrines, pardon me. But he's going to have a lot of... he's going to be able to keep up with Kynesie, at least in the short term.
Yeah, and he will also get total map control by just building shrines. He's totally giving up the water control, but also grabbing the map control because he's gonna shrine all the hunts and get line of sight basically everywhere. So I wonder. I'm really curious about this game. Like full land Jap against full water ports. I don't know who really wins. Yeah, there is probably a window where Japan has more momentum, maybe in early fortress or something like that. But in the long run, I guess Portuguese just win. So that at some point, Tabben will have to do something. either
Yeah,
on
in
water
order.
or on land, but he will have to push quite hard at some point.
Yes. So just to reiterate, you boom early on because Japan can keep up, and that's strong. You get your 200 shrine population with the really efficient Kami build that's basically unpunished. But yes, then you do have to push because Portuguese will outscale you. So that's the game plan for these players. And look, Kynesie, the only issue he's having is this trade route, which is dividing his walls and making him have to build more. But he is going for it. This is not a cheap wall. He's chucking a lot of villager seconds at this, and indeed wood as well, but has nicely got two different sides contained for gathering wood, and there's hunts in the back here as well. Tabben sending 4 villagers, and now the first military units of the game come at 7:15. 5 Ashes will now come forward.
Yeah.
And for Kynesie behind this rendering plant, so that 30% fish upgrade, very, very strong. And 700 coin for the age up. 4 villagers coming in again. I think Japan now, fully boomed. And you can see it is quite even between them. But let's see where these Ashes go. They're not heading towards the docks. They are on land. And they know about the wall. There is one of these musketeer. It's not a musketeer. I was going to say Ashy, but then I said, it's.
Yeah.
You know what it is, a scout. He's blocking the wall. He's going to be able to get through.
But it feels a little bit late maybe to start training Ashes, but at the same time he's gonna pick up a bill. But like training Ashes at 7 minutes. Oh, yeah, it looks like this bill is actually gonna escape.
But this Ville, there is another wall, but the Ashes are very fast. I think that's gonna be. Can he build it? No, it does go down.
I don't think he should. Yeah, it's dead anyway. So don't waste wood on a gate at this point. And he's gonna let his build die there. No, wait. Tabben didn't see that villager, I guess, but it's gonna die, I guess.
So this is a successful push.
Yeah.
2 villagers going down.
A couple vills.
And Basterios. He's lost 2 Ashes and 1 Expo for 2 vills, though. And
I wonder if getting clubs instead wouldn't have been maybe better just for the siege against this turtle kind of playstyle. I don't know what the Bestiaros are here, but yeah, maybe Kynesie walling up just a little bit too late, right? Going a little bit too greedy and walling
a 3rd villager,
giving enough time to Tabben to go in and killing another vill here. Maybe Kynesie could have called Minutemen. I don't know. I feel like Kynesie could have done some. Oh, yeah, a bit late, I don't know.
He's going to clear up the Basterios and the muskets, but he's not going to save those vills, yeah. I mean, it's okay, but... And vills, losing them is obviously not good, but it's not as impactful as in a regular game, because Kynesie has a lot of boats. Let's switch to economic units here, EU. We see 29 fishing ships and 30 villagers.
And boss players are going to be macroing for an industrial age. I mean, especially Tabben right now is already macroing. He's on his way to H3 and already going to have almost the resources to go directly H4. And Kynesie is a little bit further away from that age up because he's still chopping wood, I guess. But he will age quite soon as well. So they will both hit industrial around the same time. Or, well, Tabben will be up to industrial before Kynesie, but not by too much.
Foundry coming down now, so getting ready for artillery like we usually see from Kynesie. Some houses going down in the back where they'll be very safe next to the coast. Fishing boats, well, not fishing boats, but boats, frigates, these things will be able to defend all the infrastructure, so I expect to see his future factories here as well. But yes, Tabben will be up first, going up first with the Golden Pavilion, but now the Shogunate, which will give him daimios and the ability to train them as well. The Golden Pavilion upgrades, just really setting up for those super strong Japanese units. Yumi Archer's now coming out, and he's out on the map. He's not going to go and do any more raiding. He was fairly successful, actually, but instead going to use those units to pick up treasures. 135 coin here, and following up with 7 vills. This is just an all-out boom from both players. But Kynesie now going up to the next age. We'll be going up with the Tycoon for 1,000 gold, which will help train, indeed, artillery units at this foundry that he has built, and perhaps the guard upgrades that he wants as well for his Jeanette Dragoons. We shall have to see. Whale oil coming in, 40% to gold gathering on whales.
Yeah, I actually kind of expected that card instead of 700 coin. But looks like Kynesie was maybe afraid of a colonial push or something like that, and he just wanted to age up faster. Because usually Kynesie, I think, would ship that card instead of 700 coin to just keep booming and just set his fishing boats to coin and age up that way. But anyway, yeah, he's got basically fully upgraded fishing boats at this point. He's got both of the dock upgrades, and he's got also both of his deck upgrades, the cards. I mean,
yeah. And Bastion coming in now, 66%. Isn't going to lose that villager. Nice.
Nope.
But when Bastion comes in, ports will truly be well defended. EP walls are quite weak, 1,500 hit points, but Bastion ups that by 400%. They will be the same HP as on the RE patch when Bastion is in. And that will come in just in time for these walls to be... And you can see how little damage has been done now that the upgrade is in. It is absurd. But that upgrade, very expensive. But Kynesie now behind walls. This is where Kynesie wants to be. We all know this. And we are in for a game. Tabben has let Kynesie get to this point. But maybe that's okay, because Tabben, he is playing a Civ that's very strong and indeed good on this map, because we see Seminole Boya coming in, going to get that upgrade, and also has potential to get the Carib bow upgrades as well. You can have absolutely insane Yumi on this map because of those native upgrades.
Yeah, and talking about that, okay, in a regular game, shipping villagers is kind of a long-term boost, right? I mean, you're playing a normal ship bills, you're like, okay, I'm setting up for later. But in this kind of game, honestly, shipping bills is kind of like not late game. It's kind of middle game way of thinking, you know? Because shipping an upgrade is just better. And wait, what? He's shipping castles?
2 mountain castles, which is just castles. But yeah, they're going up forward, and they're not on the coast to contest water. They're just forward, I guess, for like really fast mortars, something like that. And forward spawn points?
Maybe that's a plan. But my point was just that I could have seen a Yumi upgrade instead of the 7 wheels maybe, or instead of the second 4 wheel shipment, and just building more town centers to go up to 75 wheels.
Look at this. 2 heavy cannons, 2 horse artillery. Nice volley on the Yumi. Upgraded with Seminole Boyar or not, they are going to take damage from the artillery units. And even adding in a couple of culverins here. I think Kynesie just so careful, making sure he's always got anti-artillery to defend his big units like that. We are going late game, Kaiser. It's on.
Yeah. And that's why I'm a bit concerned about these cards from Tabben, like the mountain stuff and the villager shipments and all that stuff that will not scale too well at some point. The only card that Kynesie shipped like that is, I guess, 2 heavies, and well, 1k wood, I guess, as well. But I mean, then again, the mortars, the Japanese mortars have more range. They have like, I think, 44 or 46 range than regular mortars.
No mortars. Going to be training 4 flaming arrows here. They are upgraded to honored flaming arrow, which he must have gotten at the other castle. So that's his build. Train them at one and research at the other, and has quite a nice timing here. These have got decent range, right? 28 range, which is more than the heavy cannons, I believe, and the horse artillery. But they are vulnerable to culverins, which are now setting up.
Where is the second castle, by the way?
It's up. There's one there and one there.
Okay, yeah. So he was able to upgrade his flaming arrows in one castle and train flaming.
Trading off artillery here. But 1 culverin down, second culverin down, 1 heavy cannon down, and the archers, they've got really high damage with the upgrade. They are going to take out.
Yeah.
They take out all the artillery, and they get the horse artillery too.
Yeah, kind of wasting his heavies. I don't think he needed to bring his heavies forward. Could have just sniped the flaming arrows with coverings, you know, like just micro and not just like let them shoot like that. Because, well, I guess he can remass, but he's like Kynesie needs to do something about this push now soon.
Yeah, well, I think he was trying with his artillery that got killed, but now they're gone, and this is troublesome. But does have a nice batch of hussars, which he's been keeping secret from us in the back, and guard hussar now coming in. He didn't want to get them involved until the upgrade came in, and against pure Yumi and flaming arrows, this is going to be a big surprise.
look at that. The way he's gonna go, he's not going from his base, because then the Yumis can retreat. He's gonna try to catch them when they're pushing in between the walls and they can't escape. He's gonna bring his hussars just there.
Here we go.
And
Big batch. And
wonder if
Dragoon
they
combat
line
is in
up
as well, which gives plus 15%
Oh,
also to Hussars. Don't forget. And here they are on top. But there is a Daimyo
Oh my
involved,
God.
remember. And these they have Way of the Bow and Seminole Boyar here. But they're still up against Hussars. This
no,
is
they're
not...
dead. They're just dead. I mean,
Oh
there's
my,
super
wow.
strong Yumis, but they're dead. There's just too much cav, and there's also artillery, which is totally useless here. I don't know why he didn't just train Ashes just in case, just some Ashes, you know, because, well, that's probably GG at this point. I mean, he's got totally cleaned up. Now Kynesie can run his cav on the map as well.
Yeah.
And he's got much more eco with the factory and the water.
Yeah,
so...
and that's Japan. What they needed to do was, obviously, they've got a strong eco to start with, but then they need to pile the pressure on, which looked like what he was doing, but pure Yumi is just risky. I know they're good. You've got Way at the Bow, Seminole Boya, but up against the surprise Cav batch, Kynesie is dominating
God.
here.
Yeah.
Does have some clubs out from the Japanese, but they're just, you know, rubbishy Age 1 pikes, or Age 2, whatever you want to call them.
No, they actually upgrade, so they're quite strong.
Oh, okay.
We see H's.
But they got a lot of HP there. But either way,
But
this is
not
not
enough,
looking good.
Yeah, I don't know. He just needed to maybe to make more collabs or to get some Ashes on the field. He didn't need too many anti-cav units because Yumis are really strong. You just need to cover your Yumis. When they shoot, they kill the cav, but when they get caught, they just die. So he needed some Ashes to block. But also, I wonder why he went for flaming arrows and maybe not mortars, because he could have got the walls down super quickly and just stream units in Kynesie's base and ignore the artillery, like just kill it with your Yumis anyway. But yeah, now it's sadly this game is just over.
Yeah, well, okay.
But-
Proxy Artillery Foundry. I was wondering
Oh
where
my
the
God.
cannon fire was coming from. It's these. So yeah, just dumping all over the base, but the cav mass has not been reinforced. It's just been the same number of cav the whole time, and they are now starting to dwindle. So Tabben is back here, but he's lost so much momentum, and Portuguese behind this just have an incredible economy, and now he's basically switched to his mills. We can see he's got refrigeration and seed drill in, and of course the factories will be generating the coin, both toggled to coin with the mass production upgrade, and all of these fish are now on the whales.
And I think, yeah, now the problem is that Tabben he missed his window. Even when Portuguese has to delete some fishing boats because he's gonna run out of fish, he will still have like the factories, the fishing boats on ways, and then a 99 villager land boom. So Port is gonna be like so ahead of Japan, which like Japan doesn't have the greatest late game eco. So I don't know, like he just missed his window, and now it's and that card he invested into castles is totally rubbish now as well. You know, it's just completely useless. And meanwhile, Kynesie's just got eco theory, refrigeration, dragoon combat, bus factories, 2 fishing upgrades, and what does Tabben have for late game? Just Way of the Bow and his shogun, I guess. That's it. So yeah, Tabben will remass. He will try to push again, but I'm saying that Kynesie will hold really easily now and win, I think. But
Guard, Castador, as well as counter infantry rifling in. Looks like he will use 2 horse artillery here.
Yeah, right, but 130 villagers eco. He literally doesn't care about his units now. He's just gonna keep buying time. You see, he's just rallying some Huss in Tabben space. Maybe gonna train more mortars from that artillery foundry next to the water on the shore. He can maybe even make monitors and just bomb the wonders or whatever, you know. And where are the wonders? Actually, are they gone already?
Yes.
Did he get all the wonders?
Shit. He did.
Oh man, that's so over. I mean, no golden pavilion, no shogunate, no big shrine. Like, that's so tough for Japan.
Yeah, no wonders.
And more mortars, yeah. And
that's only just been rebuilt. And the
and
Yumi and
now
Ashi just having to run all over the map, defending stuff and villages. And his cherry orchard's only got 1,000 food left in it. And he does not look like he is in a position to transition to mills. Rice paddies, rather. And his opponent's already fully done that and is upgraded to boot.
Yeah, and it's a point where Kynesie has his base set up.
Gunpowder infantry combat coming in.
Yeah, and like Kynesie is so safe behind his walls, and he can just run stuff on the map, and Tabben has to catch it, and he's just buying more time. And maybe we're gonna see Kynesie go Imperial like he did in another game soon. Like he doesn't have much food, but in 1 minute or something, he can start clicking up to Imperial maybe. So.
Yeah.
Like Tabben's just gonna fall apart here. He needs to make walls himself, but he's in the swamps where he can't wall up, and it's
and he's fighting.
tough.
He's fighting Guard Cassador that have gunpowder infantry and counter infantry rifling on them with disciplined Ashigaru Musketeer, which is just a recipe for disaster there, with that ×3 multiplier. Looks like though big batch of. Flaming arrows, they are going to take down the horse artillery and will be quite strong against the Guard Cassador, especially with all these Yumi now coming in. This is a good fight for Tabben.
He also didn't upgrade his Yumis, despite... Wait, so when he was pushing Kynesie's base, he had H3 Yumis against H4 Huss as well. Imagine if he got H4 Yumis and just some clubs, maybe he could have been okay there, but I don't know why he didn't upgrade his Yumis. He had like 50 of them in that push, the first push where he failed, or maybe even more than 50. But anyway, I don't know what to say about this game anymore. It's just...
He's got a good mess of stuff, right? He's got units, but I do worry because Kynesie, look at the score. It's just incredible. And with the economy behind this, it's 565 score to nearly 300. So he's very, very far ahead. And yes... Japan may be ahead right now, but with such a powerful economy, I think Kynesie can just remass. He's losing a lot of villagers here. Oh, that's Tabben. This is not so good.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff everywhere from Kynesie. He basically got map control. I mean, he's got units all over the map. He's got water, so he can even make a galleon and start training units from there if he didn't do it already. I mean, he can just run everywhere. It's a nightmare for Tabben right now, I can tell you. Like, it's really not funny to play as Tabben right now. He's down to 60 eco to 130. The only reason why Tabben hasn't resigned yet, it's because it's a match point of the qualification match, basically, but it is essentially game over at this point.
Yeah. So, well, we've seen weird things happen. There's that time H2O tried to delete all his cows, but actually ended up deleting all his villages. Maybe, maybe we have one of those. But seems less likely. No cows here. But yeah, just everywhere.
Imperial gonna come in for Kynesie. It's what I was talking about a couple minutes ago. Just not making. Okay, I'm just gonna go up, get Imperial units, and come back and just stomp you. And if you try to push me, I have 10 layers of walls, so it's fine,
Yeah, and adding more in now as well. Kynesie could finish the game here and now, but just gonna play super safe. Just make the most of his insane eco, get those Imperial upgrades, and how can you lose?
Yeah.
And he's built so much time. He's gotten so much time just by being all over the map here. Imperial coming in. El Presidente gonna get 2,000 gold, which will help with those Imperial Age upgrades.
Right, and Advanced Arsenal as well. And what did I want to say? I forgot, I guess. Oh yeah, I wanted to say that the one thing going for Japs is that he has much more pop space. I mean, effective pop space, just because Portuguese has these villas, these fishing boats, when he can't mass as many units. So maybe that's why Kynesie wants to age. He's like, okay, you got 125 pop of stuff. I can't fight that. But what if I age up and get Imperial units? Then I can fight it.
That's fair. And that's what he's going to do, 80%. Now getting paper cartridges in. Advanced Artillery Foundry, Arsenal. Going to get even stronger gunpowder infantry. The Yumi are very strong, though, with Way of the Bow and the Archer upgrade. I think they do very well against the Cassador.
They're CH3 Yumis, and they don't have the golden champions. They're really actually not that strong compared to what you would usually have at this point. And Cassadors are probably stronger because they're carded in H4.
Yeah.
So,
And
I
now
mean, yeah,
Flintlock
Cassadors are way
coming in.
stronger than Yumis, actually.
Imperial
And
Cassador
Imperial,
coming in.
Like, we're gonna witness fully upgraded, or not fully, I guess there's still 2 other cards you can ship as Portuguese in H4 to upgrade your infantry.
Yeah,
But
Tabben is making ground, and this is what he needs to do. But soon Imperial Cassador will be in, and I don't think he can push Tabben back in. He can't push Kynesie back enough. Now has Honored Yumi in.
And the warships as well are helping, right? It's warship. No, wait. I saw some cannonballs. He got cannon somewhere. Oh yeah, House Artillery there. Also buying time, in the back on the other side of the wall. So, now the military is back to even.
And now Imperial Cassador is in
Yeah.
with both the Industrial Age Portuguese upgrades as well as Flintlock paper cartridges, counter infantry rifling. These are insane Cassadors. And now
he's
getting
them-
large-scale agriculture in at the capital for 50%
Yeah.
extra food gather rate, which just basically all the vills on food, just holy crap, it's so strong.
And then he's gonna get the gold one, and I think it affects fishing boats on whales as well by a lot. I don't want to say something wrong, but I think it's not like 50% for fishing boats and whales. It's more like 100 or 200% boost for them or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I might be saying bullshit, but I think I remember that it's an insane upgrade for fishing boats and whales. So, I mean, it's very, very, very tough for Tabben here.
Yeah, he does got
trying his
flaming
best,
arrows
and
though.
He does a fairly good job, but
And 16
eventually-
Yumi Archer. That's what he needs to deal with this.
Yeah, but again, it's short-term shipments. He needs them because he needs to keep massing, but it's just short-term. Meanwhile, Kynesie casually shipping what you could call an H2 card, even if it's an H4 one, the infantry attack stuff. And
Yeah.
Tabben resigns. Oh, GG.
And GG coming in. Kynesie. Does pick up the 4th and final game. He got to Florida. He did what he needed to do to get to the maps. And does win. We'll see if we can have a chat with Kynesie. See if we can get him on Discord and see what his thoughts are. But I've never heard Kynesie speak before, so I'm not convinced he actually owns a microphone. And he says he has to go to sleep. That's fair enough.
Right.
It is quite late for him. He's a family man. He's an older gentleman with a wife and kids. And I imagine he gets up quite early. And for him in France, it's quite late.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think...
almost midnight, so...
Yeah, so we won't be talking to Kynesie. But we will be seeing him next time. Perhaps, yes. So it looks like he's down. We'll see if we can have a chat with him later in the week. And I'll combine the interview with the VOD on YouTube. But yes, well done. Well done to Kynesie. And commiserations to Tabben. I honestly thought we would be seeing Tabben at the tournament. But maybe we still will. Maybe he'll come as a viewer. But it looks like Kynesie has qualified. Congratulations to him. That was a nail-biting series. Kynesie was on match point the whole time. But Tabben, he couldn't find a win. And
so
Kynesie does go
it did
through.
go as you predicted, that the last game on Florida would just give Kynesie a win, despite losing like 2 games in a row. Just like it was match point, and he had to go to Florida to actually win it. But it was a really close series, and Tabben could have won it for sure.
Yeah.
But it's Kynesie who's gonna qualify here. So congratulations.
That's a lot of fun. And I can also reveal details on how... Actually, no. We will save that. I'm going to tease you all. I'm going to wait until every player has qualified before we announce anything else. But that's going to be it from us.